Update brought to you by Newcomb and Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 3 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones is down 38 points to 43,230. Market update brought to you by The Good Feet Store. Ready to step into a healthy and active lifestyle? Come to The Good Feet Store and experience the difference. Discover how a simple step can lead to a life of pain-free possibilities.
Natchez with it, 25 seconds left. They'll score on the power play. Svechnikov from Natchez. By Orlov, long drive, kicked away, rebound, they'll score! Robinson to the front of the net. Cairo brings it in. Kochetkov, 1-2 saves on Cairo. It's Robinson. And we'll get this one. Natchez spins and scores! Everything is going in for Marty Natchez. Finds Natchez, he scores! It's a 4-point night for Marty Natchez.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Hey, welcome back is in order. I'm Tim Donnelly. That's normal, but Dennis Cox is back with us.
Thank you.
Been a week.
Yeah. Wednesday last week was the last
Wednesday.
time I was here.
Been a week. So he's back, and a lot has taken place. Canes over goalies have come in and out of the lineup.
Yeah.
Martin Natchez, I think, had 75 points since you were last on the show.
Yeah, I was there for all of those.
Just lose track of them. Welcome back. Seriously, welcome back to the show. And we're going to start with some Canes talk here. The Carolina Hurricanes have been playing so well and overcoming the bumps in the road so smoothly. They have great suspension on their ride. One might accuse them of being boring, which is a compliment, but one might accuse them of being boring. I just so everybody knows, your feedback that reaches us, right? Your comments on YouTube, the emails you send, the tweets you send, they stick with me in a lot of ways. And I went back and forth with a fan, with a listener, I should say, who thought I was making too big a deal out of the adversity the Canes have faced this season. Thought I was kind of Chicken Little, right? Running around saying doom and gloom, all this stuff they had to overcome. In the process, the listener may have insulted a few players from last year's team. Basically like, Shea Pesci, no good. They're not hard to replace.
Jake Ensel's jackwagon.
Yeah, exactly. It's a, whoa, Nason, so he was a fan favorite. It's like, I could have argued there, but instead, like I said, it sticks with me. It rattles around in my brain. After I got through, I think you're being kind of mean to Brett Pesci, I got to the other side of the argument, which was a fair point, right? I do point out everything they're dealing with this season. I do point out how difficult it is to deal with two goalies being injured at the same time. I do point out how difficult it is when your leading point scorer over the last however many years is having a little bit of a goal-scoring slowdown to start the season. I do point out when you're on a 6-game road trip and it's caused by the state fair and you're going to be gone forever at the beginning of a season. I do point it out. And his argument was basically that these things I'm pointing out and making mountains out of are really molehills. Right, every team in the league deals with bumps on the road, like a stud forward and similar to Seth Jarvis missing a week or two. Right, most teams end up playing 3 goalies at least by the end of the season. Players go through scoring slumps. Teams go on road trips. None of that is news. And like I said, it rattles around in the brain. I'm going all right, that's a good point. Right, sometimes you just look at the person you're arguing with and you go, all right, good point there. But if you're me, unfortunately, you can rarely just walk away. You need to get the last word in. You can ask my wife. She knows my arguing style. First of all, with that logic, it would be really bad radio and really boring conversation, even if we weren't on radio, to just say every team deals with bumps and bruises. This team is good. They'll deal with it. We'll check back in with you in April. Right, this is a good team with a good culture and good players, and most of the core is back from last year, and Rod Brindamore's still there, so they're going to be, in the mix come mid-April. Why don't you go talk to us then? That'd be a really boring way to handle this season, right? We're fans. We want to pay attention. We want things to lock onto, and that's where the second of all comes from. I believe, and this, I'm not a motivational speaker. No one will kind of confuse me for like Tony Robbins or one of those social media Instagram, I'm going to get you to change the way you think about life people. But I do believe, at least in part, to how you deal with anything is how you deal with everything. How you deal with small adversities informs how you deal with big adversities. It's why, and every single time we have anyone on the show that is involved with any kind of nonprofit or organization that is benefiting youth sports, I go over the top making sure I praise them. And it's because I believe you learn how to deal with adversity in youth sports, right? If how do you deal with it when your best player gets hurt in Little League? How do you deal with it when the umpire gives you a bad call on the Pop Warner field? Teaches you how you, or exposes you to how you deal with adversity. So when you get older and it's a bad call, but you lost your job, or it's a team sport and someone you were depending on didn't show up, right? It's a big presentation. The things you learn off the little adversities that in this big picture may seem like nothing inform how you react to the big adversities. So to put this in a one-season scenario here, in a one-season example, how you deal with Spencer Martin being forced into action in November is an indicator of how you will deal with being down 2-0 in a playoff series and going on the road, right? How you deal with Sebastian Aho having a bit of a scoring drought, right? And he's still producing points, not at the level you'd hope, but he's still producing points, not scoring even strength goals nearly as often as you'd want. How you deal with that now could be an indicator on how you might deal with a Sebastian Aho, knock on wood for you superstitious people out there, injury when the games do matter a little bit more. So a game like tonight, they're playing against Philly. Philly isn't anything to write home about. They're not the worst, but the Canes have been playing a lot of middle-of-the-road teams recently. Right? They're not anything to write home about. They give up the fourth most goals per game in the NHL, so they can be had as far as you can go score against them. But they did take you to the wire a couple weeks ago. Remember that? Remember you had your multi-goal lead, and then the wheels kind of came off there. You blacked out, and you came to, and it was 4-4 in the third.
And Nate just scored with 30 seconds left?
Nate just bailed you out with 30 seconds left. And then you picked up an empty netter to make it look like you were in control the whole time. Nothing to see here. That's a good example. You learn something about your team in there. You learn something about your team in a game like that against a team like Philly, who isn't anything to write home about. Now, if they lost that game, or if they lose tonight, I think the emailer I was talking about would argue everybody's going to lose games. You play 80 of them. A little bit more. Right? Everybody's going to lose 30. Everybody's going to win 30. It's what you do with the middle ones that matter. Or 20-20, whatever the math you want to do. Dropping a game, it's not the end of the world. But you can learn something about yourself. And when it comes to the Canes, we're always judging them off of the bar set by the Canes. I'm not sitting here saying like, oh my gosh, if they don't deal with the Jarvis injury well, they're going to be the 7th team in the division. I'm not saying that. I'm saying if they don't deal with the Jarvis injury well, maybe they won't make it to the second round of the playoffs. Maybe they won't make it to the conference finals. Maybe that's the indicator of something that's been holding them back over the last 5 years. So much, and I emphasized this last year more so than this year because I do think there's a lot of unknown this year. But you can go back and find the audio. Last season, from the opening puck drop of the season, I was saying the Canes can't teach me anything in the regular season. Can't prove to me anything. There's no victory laps being taken in the regular season. It's all about what they do in the postseason. I think it's similar to a team like the Buffalo Bills in the NFL. What do you want to accomplish? You want to be a 1 seed? You want to be a 2 seed? You've done it. What do you want to do? Be an MVP candidate? You've done it, Josh Allen. The thing you need to do is get over the hump, make it to the Super Bowl. If you're looking at the Canes, what do you want to do? What do you want? You want to get the most points? What do you want to do? You want to be the betting favorite? What do you want to? No, you want to get to the Stanley Cup Finals. So that's what we're judging you off of. And anybody that's been in any kind of team sport knows that a pebble in the shoe, right, just a little, something's off there in November. If you fix it, it's nothing. It's boring, right? Oh, look at that. They fixed it. Cool. But if you don't, it grows and it grows and it grows and it grows. And then by the end of the season, it can be the thing that does you in. So I'm not sounding any alarms, but I'm talking about the Canes as if they're chasing big and lofty goals. I'm not sounding alarms because, Coach Chekhov needed a day off in the middle of November because he tweaked something while doing his crazy flailing in front of the net that he gets into sometimes. But me and Dennis had a long conversation. We're going to have one tomorrow about how they handle the goalie position moving forward. And do they need to go into the trade world? And all of that is informed by what's happened the last week. Yeah, they're playing well. They're boring. There's something you can learn inside of that boring that may make or break the rest of the year, including tonight at Philly, which you can hear right here on 99.9 The Fan. Storm watch immediately prior.
7 o'clock Storm watch because the game's at 8:30. It's a radio-only broadcast, by the way.
Wait a second.
7 o'clock Storm watch. That's a 7:30 puck drop.
You said it was an 8:30 puck drop. I was very
sure. We'll go with that.
I was like Adam Gold doing a little triple action of Storm watch. So it is a 7 o'clock puck Storm watch with Adam Gold with a 7:30 radio-only broadcast with the puck drop with Mike Maniscalco, Trip Tracy, and the crew. That's what we're looking at. If you are a big Canes fan and you do not think they're boring, you might think they're one of the coolest things you can possibly do with your friends and family, meaning going to a game. We're going to hook you up, or possibly. Join 99.9 The Fan this Thursday night at Cary Carolina Ale House, where Victoria Voden-Eckert, you hear on the Adam Gold Show, speaking of, every single weekday, except for today. She was replaced by Graham for today. But she produces that show. She'll be at the Cary Carolina Ale House from 7 to 9 p.m. for a Canes ticket stop, where she will be giving away a pair of tickets to see the Canes and Islanders on December 17th every 8 minutes. From 7 to 9 p.m., Cary Carolina Ale House on Thursday, every 8 minutes. Victoria will be giving away a pair of tickets to see the Canes and Islanders on December 17th. So head on out there, hang out, and win big. You must be there to claim your prize. And just to whet your whistle, maybe not every 8 minutes, but every hour today on the show, we're giving away a pair of tickets. Every hour, including right now. Caller number 9 will win a pair of tickets to see the Canes and Islanders December 17th. You have to call in right now, 919-860-5326. Caller number 9 at 919-860-5326. Get some Canes tickets. Yeah, we're doing it like that. And if you don't win this one, keep listening in. We'll do it again in the 4 o'clock hour, again in the 5 o'clock hour. And keep it tuned right here because when it comes up, there's a big old football game tomorrow when we come back. NC State is playing Georgia Tech tomorrow night. I'll tell you who found a way to lose the bye week for NC State against all odds. Stick around.
Move your sports day forward.
Come on, Coach. I know it's tough. Just squeezed out that. Yeah, he's doing it for us. He is the giant non-disposable straw that is stirring the drink because you do not want Marty Necas melting down like a cardboard straw in a milkshake.
Get set up. Join Next Up with Paul Ihander. Mornings at 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
This is Gordon Miller from Miller Lending in Cary. Now that the Fed has finally begun their path of rate cuts, trying to decide when to finance becomes very challenging. Do I lock now? Do I wait? At Miller Lending, we offer a solution to the question of timing with our popular no closing cost program. With no fees charged or added to your loan amount, you simply close on today's rates free of charge and refinance any time rates fall. Having done our first no-cost loan all the way back in 1987, we've now funded over $10 billion in no-cost mortgages, saving our customers thousands of dollars in needless fees. Lately, we've seen a trend of even higher closing costs as borrowers chase rates only to see them drop considerably 4 months later. So whether you're purchasing a new home or simply refinancing the home you're in, why not call Miller Lending and say goodbye to closing costs forever? 919-447-3377 or simply apply online at millerlending.com. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender, NMLS number 2502146.
The holiday rush is on, and Sound Station and Security is here to help. With the largest inventory on the East Coast, if they don't have it, we probably do. Did you know that Sound Station and Security can install Apple CarPlay or Android Auto on your car? Plug in your phone, have your texts read to you, see your navigation screen, play your music, and more with a gift of CarPlay or Android Auto from Sound Station and Security, with 2 locations on Glenwood Avenue in Raleigh and in downtown Smithfield. Online at myhotsound.com.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy 2. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
It's Tim Donnelly for Window Nation. Experts say that heating costs are increasing up to 23% this winter. And if your windows aren't from Window Nation, your money is literally going out the window. They have some of the best insulated windows so your heat stays inside. And right now, get these amazing windows at 50% off. Plus, you could save even more money with 0% interest for 5 years. Hurry, sale ends November 30th. Schedule your fast in-home estimate right now at 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com.
Here's Brandon with Parkway Sleep Centers.
Tired of waiting for a sleep treatment? At other sleep centers, it can take 6 to 8 months just to get an appointment and cost you thousands more. Not Parkway Sleep Health Centers. We schedule you within weeks and we'll save you money too. We have over 20 years of experience serving the Triangle. Let our expert team help you sleep better sooner.
End your sleep problems. Live your best life. Experience the Parkway Sleep difference. Visit parkwaysleep.com and start your journey to better sleep today. Parkway Sleep Health Centers. Sound sleep, sound health.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small. Loud or quiet, find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Just gave away some tickets to a Canes game, which means one of you is taking a friend, family member, somebody to a Canes game in December, and more of you will have that opportunity. We have more tickets to give away later in the show.
Shout out to Stephen from Wilson.
Stephen from Wilson, you're the one. You're the big winner for the first hour. In the 4 o'clock hour, we'll have more tickets to give away, and again in the 5.
By the way, one of my favorite things, just hearing the reactions of people when I say, hey, you're caller 7, just some words that sometimes can't be said on air. Just
It's-
like, not that, but.
Oh, bleep. There it is. It's also because your caller number is the same whether you're winning or losing. So that whole time there's just building anticipation. Hey, you are caller number 7. But, again, more opportunities. And if you don't win today on the show, you can always show up at the Carolina Ale House in Cary, where Victoria from the Adam Gold Show will be giving away tickets every 8 minutes, 7 to 9 p.m. on Thursday. Also taking place on Thursday, a little football game that means some things to some people around here. NC State, Georgia Tech, at Georgia Tech on Thursday. This is an old-school ACC Thursday nighter. This is an old-school ACC knockdown, drag-out. Both teams are going to be ready to lay everything on the line. Matter of fact, they should. We know Georgia Tech will, because that's been their calling card all year. And Dave Doeren, this is kind of why he's the coach of NC State, is to get his team bought in regardless of the situation. He's not calling plays on defense. They're running Tony Gibson's 3-3-5. Not calling plays on offense. That's all Robert and Nye. Dave Doran's the big picture guy. He's the motivational guy. He's the CEO. He needs to have his team ready. Thursday can't come soon enough for Dave Doeren. Now, I host by the way, shameless plug, I host a podcast covering state sports. It's called Pack Therapy. During football season, Pack Therapy features Mike Glennon, former NC State quarterback, longtime NFL quarterback. He's my co-host, and we talk about state football. So because of that, obviously I prepare very hard for the podcast, and we do them once a week. I get these spotlights on, or these pictures, snapshots is the word I'm looking for, into NC State fandom and Wolfpack Nation. Sometimes it's very, very entertaining, right? You win a game, gosh, a team can flip on, or a fan base can flip on a dime, right? I'm looking at them this Wednesday, and the sky is falling. You go through a weekend, you win a game by a bunch, you show up the next Wednesday, everybody's happy, they're complimenting each other. It's fanatics is an appropriate term. You don't really see that on a bye, though. When you have a bye week, you don't see big swings, but we kind of did this week. Last week, off the loss to Duke, there was some trepidation. There was some very obviously bummed out fans. Like, don't get me wrong, they weren't happy about it, but there was tempered optimism, right? CJ Bailey having his first real step back. He's going to learn from it. He's a freshman quarterback, and the defense did some good things, and got to clean this up. But like it was all contextual. This week there was a surprising amount of calling for Dave Doeren's job. Matter of fact, I'll read some of the tweets that I passed along to Mike on the podcast. The only people who enjoy bowl games, this comes from Awakened Soul 33 on YouTube. The only people who enjoy bowl games are people who enjoy being mediocre, SMH. P.S. How many offensive coordinators do we have to go through to realize that maybe, just maybe, Dave Doeren is the problem? Bunch of emojis. At Red Fisher 5378. Dave has a losing record in the conference. No championship appearances. If we want more of the same, he needs to stay. This program is heading south. He seems uninterested. And that's just a few. That's just to get the flavor of the joint. Dave Doeren, and I've used this analogy in the past, he is Billy Hoyle from White Man Can't Jump. That is Woody Harrelson's character. And I'm not talking about him being a hustler. I'm not saying he dresses up like a chump and then goes out there and makes shots. I'm talking about his relationship with Rosie Perez, Gloria. Rosie Perez's character, Gloria. By the way, Rosie Perez was one of the announcers for the Tyson fight on Friday. Their relationship is one that throughout their relationship, Billy Hoyle messes up, bets away their money, gets robbed, whatever. Gloria gets mad, says she's leaving, and then Billy does a big dramatic gesture, right? I write you a song. I show up and do something public. I bring you flowers, and then Gloria takes him back. And it happens like that over and over and over again until, spoiler alert, at the end of the movie, she's gone for good this time. And they're both better for it. It's a good movie. I suggest you check it out. That's Dave Doeren. Dave Doeren has messed up some, right? Last year being 4-3, quarterback shuffle. You have the MJ Morris situation going on, all of that, and fan base, we heard the I'm out, I'm leaving, he's gone, he needs to leave. And then what happens? Big dramatic gesture. He plays him a song. It's written just for you, right? It's a 5-game winning streak to end the season and full speed ahead to the Pop-Tarts Bowl. He always makes the big dramatic. He always beats UNC and then talks trash after to get everybody back. Well, it's time for the big dramatic gesture, right? It's time. Right now, the fan base is upset. Gloria's saying she's going to leave. You're not going to do this to her again. She spent too much time remembering foods that start with the letter Q. If you've seen the movie, you get that. If you don't, that's fine. Forget that part existed, that reference. If I'm Dave Doeren, there's two things that I would like. One is the most obvious thing in the world, and the other is maybe a little bit more nuanced. First, I am making sure, with every fiber of my being, with whatever it takes, you win these next 2 games. All right, the Georgia Tech game and the UNC game, you win both of those. That's a glorious, loving gesture to the fans. The other is I would feature the heck out of CJ Bailey. He is the beacon of hope. He is the one thing that can get everybody back on your side. NFL coaches learned this a long time ago. Right? You may believe in sitting your rookie quarterback or your highly drafted quarterback for 2 years so they can learn. But the moment your job's on the hot seat, you roll that rookie quarterback out there and hope he looks good. So then you get to turn around and go, see, I am the one that brings you this beacon of hope. I am the one that is best suited to develop this young quarterback. If Dave Doeren wants everybody back on his side, CJ Bailey can be that beacon of hope. If he plays great and then also commits to being around NC State for the remainder of his career, at least pretends to do so publicly, that's a big feather in the cap of Dave Doeren. But all of that starts tomorrow night against Georgia Tech. And if there's one thing we know about Georgia Tech, it's that they're not showing up with, bows and arrows and looking for long-range finesse-style warfare. They're bringing like clubs and sticks and bats, and they're looking for hand-to-hand combat.
Hope your run defense is ready.
Hope your run defense is ready. Hope your offensive front is ready. They're bringing, like I said, they're bringing blunt force weapons. They're coached by an offensive line coach. Their head coach is a former guy in the trenches. Brent Key, former offensive lineman himself. Anyone's ever been on a football team, they beat to their own drum in a lot of ways. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we move on, Tim Donnelly here for Bailey's Fine Jewelry. Bailey's Fine Jewelry, you should actually, obviously, and I tell you all the time, go out there, check out their timepiece selection, talk to Mickey, the timepiece manager, the entire staff, wildly equipped, and their expertise is impressive when it comes to the timepieces they sell, whether it's the Omegas. We're talking about Bailey's Fine Jewelry, by the way, in Raleigh, their Village District location. Whether it's the Blanc Pons, the Glashute Originals, the pre-owned and vintage Rolexes, right? The information is limitless. But also, when you're there, be sure to check out, maybe, make it a point to bring somebody who might be interested in a different part of jewelry, right? Not only do they have like sweet Rolex events that come through, they just had a Norcane event, or another watch company that's making waves, have an event come through. There was a Rolex event that I wanted to go see, right? Wanted to go check out the selection. My wife just happened to be out running errands with me, so we both showed up. And I go to look at the Rolexes. There's an estate jewelry sale going on inside the jewelry main showroom, and it was perfect. She got to meander and window shop there. I got to meander and window shop at the Rolexes, come back, talk about the things that we like, talk about the things that we didn't like, and it ended up being a cool deal. So not only is there a lot on a regular day, they're constantly bringing in events, Omega events. I've been to a bunch of them at Bailey's Fine Jewelry. So pay attention to their calendar, follow them on social media, and as always, check out the timepieces. And when you're there, let them know we sent you. Say you heard about it from Tim on 99.9 The Fan. It's all happening at Bailey's Fine Jewelry, Village District location in Raleigh. When we come back, we have a thesis statement for you about the state of college sports. It may not be an explicit acknowledgement, but I believe it's an inferred acknowledgement from a prominent local athletic director that college sports are on fire. Stick around.
Has Mother Nature taken a toll on your home? Whether it's storm damage, wear and tear, or just the passage of time, Baker Home Exteriors is Raleigh's trusted expert for all your home repair needs. From roofs, gutters, and siding, to doors, windows, and decks, we have the experience to restore your home. But we don't just fix problems, we improve your home's resilience and aesthetics, giving you peace of mind and pride in your property. Visit BakerRoofing.com to schedule your repair service today.
It's truck season at John Heister Chevrolet, and boy, do we have the sweetest Silverado deal for you. Right now, you can get that 24 Silverado 1500 you've had your eye on for up to $15,000 off with GM trade-in allowance and Costco private offer. Yes, up to $15,000 off a brand new 2024 Silverado 1500 right now at John Heister Chevrolet. See dealer for details on this sweet Silverado offer. Get off your keister and get to John Heister Chevrolet in Fuquay Varina. Together, let's drive.
A new game has landed in North Carolina. Officials are calling this new species of game Cash Pop. So easy to play, it's out of this world. Reports confirm you just pick and match one number to win up to $2,500. With 5 drawings every day, cash landings have been cited across the state. So be on the lookout for Cash Pop from the North Carolina Education Lottery. The wins are out there. Must be 18 to play. See Cash Pop prize and odds chart at nclottery.com for details. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Martha was ready to switch to a career in IT.
There's always a need for IT specialists, especially with AI coming out and cybersecurity. It's practically recession-proof.
She heard an ad for My Computer Career and jumped in feet first.
Taking exams and getting certified in a matter of just months.
Even better, you can work from anywhere.
Wherever you are. If you're on vacation, you can still clock in. I work out of my house in my pajamas.
My Computer Career even provides job placement help.
The career specialists, they're very helpful. They care about you as a person. You're not just a number to them.
Launch a new high-demand career in IT or level up with more certifications. Build a career in record time with less money.
I would recommend My Computer Career wholeheartedly to anyone. Indeed, it was the right move for me.
Take the free career evaluation today. Become an IT pro in just months with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
Stop letting high-interest debt weigh you down. Pay it all off in days thanks to Loan Pronto's new Rapid Equity Loan. Hey, it's Dennis Cox, my friends at Loan Pronto. Imagine a completely hassle-free way to cash out your home equity. No appraisals, no paperwork, no waiting. Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan uses AI-driven tech to get you approved for cash out in as little as 1 day. One client got $100,000 approved in under 24 hours, wiped out their debt, launched a home improvement project, and is now saving over $1,000 a month. Instant approvals, low fixed rates, fast transfers. Get cash to consolidate all your debt and get a fresh start for the new year. Call Loan Pronto now and see how much you qualify for. Imagine this time next week, you could be credit card debt free. Call 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, on approved credit, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
The holidays mean more travel, more shopping, more time online, and more personal info in more places that could expose you more to identity theft. But LifeLock monitors millions of data points per second. If your identity is stolen, our US-based restoration specialists will fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Don't face drained accounts, fraudulent loans, or financial losses alone. Get more holiday fun and less holiday worry with LifeLock. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS. Visit lifelock.com. Terms apply.
This is The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. Mims. Songs have a way of taking you back to the exact spot in your life. I know exactly where I was, where this song was taking over the world. It's funny. Either way, it is time for the Thesis Statement here on The Drive with Tim Donnelly. Bell's a little late today. I'm early to class. There it is. Part of the day where we make a thesis and we defend our thesis about college sports in the area. And the thesis for today, college sports are on fire. And even more so, with college sports being on fire, each college athletics program has to decide what their priorities are, because you can't have everything anymore. Prices have gone up on anything you value in college sports. Let me defend. College sports are on fire. I've used this as a metaphor in the past. But Dennis, do you want to have an icebreaker question right here live on air? You want to play a game?
All right, sure.
All right. You're in your house.
All right.
House catches on fire. This is
Okay.
hypothetical. You can only grab 2 or 3 things with the acknowledgement that pets and people are safe, right?
Okay.
You don't have to grab, hey, I'm going to grab my friend who's, over the house or whatever. 2 or 3 things. Actually, we'll go with 2 just to keep it quicker.
Okay.
You grab 2 things. What are you grabbing?
One thing in each hand?
Yep.
Okay.
You have 30 seconds to get out, so it's what are you grabbing?
30 seconds to get out. I'm probably grabbing my backpack because it
Fair.
has my wallet, my laptop, and all the just kind of essential
very
life
practical,
things,
very
practical life things. And I will probably grab my favorite pair of sneakers.
Yeah, there you go.
That's probably it. Probably it.
Got to grab the one. That's a question that people ask, dinner parties, right? Like icebreakers. College sports are kind of in that, right? Like if you're an athletic director, and we have some quotes here from an article written by Bubba Cunningham, the North Carolina UNC athletic director, it's kind of that right now. Like your program is on fire. There's you open this door, there's flames of transfer portal. You open that door, there's flames of NIL. You open that door, there's some the name, image, and likeness payout that you're going to have to make that's going to come out of your revenue for the next 10 years. Like everywhere you go, there's bigger, hotter, more engulfing flames, and you have to decide what 2 or 3 things are you grabbing on the way out. If you grab football and basketball, Olympic sports are going to suffer. If you grab traditional college values and spirits and playing for your alma mater, then you will give up winning. You can't have everything. You used to be able to. When labor was free, as soon as somebody stepped on campus, they were essentially handcuffed to your program. When there wasn't 24-hour sports available everywhere, so really the only sport you could watch on a Saturday was the local college team. When all of that wasn't the case, right, when all of these changes didn't happen, you could have everything. You could have a good track and field team, a good wrestling squad, a good football team, a good basketball team, men's and women's, and you could win. Now all of that's being twisted up. There's a great article. You can read it for yourself. There's a lot there. It's on GoHeels.com. As I said, Bubba Cunningham, the athletic director of UNC, making his opinions felt on the future of the program in the ever-changing college sports world. I'm going to lean on Brian Murphy for some of this, WRAL Sports investigative reporter, because I read the whole article and then I go, I'm the kid, and this has been me my entire life. You get the textbook and you get the highlighter out and you start reading, and then you go back to check over what you highlighted, and you highlighted every sentence.
Yeah,
and you're
it's the whole thing's highlighted. Cool.
I didn't highlight the conclusion. That was it. So I'm like, everything's interesting. Brian Murphy often retweets and kind of pulls out what he thinks is important, and quite frankly, I trust his opinion on that more than I do, more than my own. Brian Murphy tweeted, "Football and men's basketball, only sports at UNC that generate more than they spend. UNC sponsors 28 sports, has won 45 national titles in women's sports." And then he quoted the story from Bubba Cunningham. "Moving forward, that means committing to fair financial arrangements with players while continuing to provide Olympic sport athletes as many opportunities as possible." As possible would scare me if I were a discus thrower. Because saying fair financial arrangements would indicate those that make the money get the money, right? If you're football, if you're men's basketball, if you're bringing in cash, you probably deserve a bigger slice of the pie, which means there's now less slice of the pie going to field hockey, or even though they're winning national championships, or soccer, lacrosse, or whatever else we're talking about.
I also wonder as well, he did mention, I don't know if you're going to get into roster sizes, but Bubba Cunningham did mention right now they have about 850 athletes. With the NCAA's restriction on roster sizes, they're probably going to go down to about 735.
We are going to get to that. So
okay.
Stick a pin in it. We'll come back.
Cool.
You can't compete in every sport, because here's the other thing that's coming. Revenue share. So what revenue share is expected to be approved in April. Schools are going to be allowed to pay students from the school, right? So you don't have to tell fans to donate to a collective and then hint to the collective which players you want to give a name, image, and likeness deal. They're going to be able to pay players with the most common reference number, about $20.5 million per year. It's revenue share. That goes to the players.
That's TV deals, ticket sales, concessions, those kinds of things.
There is an expected kind of detail in that approval that 75% can go to one sport. You can't give the whole thing to the football team, can't give the whole thing to the men's basketball team, but you can give 75%. Well, guess what? If another school is giving 75% of that, you're looking at $15 million. to the football team and you want to divide it up evenly so you make sure you don't have a bad softball squad and swimming teams and everything else, you're not going to be able to compete. If you want to win at football, you better give 75% to football because there's a lot of other teams that are going to be giving 75% of that money to football. When the everything around you is on fire, what are you grabbing? Are you grabbing football and men's basketball? There's not going to be room in your arms for anything else, or very few of anything else. Right? I think if you maybe one other sport, right? Like I do think UNC could spend some on field hockey because they value that so much and they win so much. I think LSU and a few others, they have baseball or whatever. Like those are going to be able to keep those. But if it's not your main deal, it's not your main deal. Another Brian Murphy tweet. Among changes, additional advertising, perhaps on uniforms, potential surcharges, also known as talent fees, on tickets, total athletes dropping from 850 to 735, as Dennis referenced, scholarships likely up from 330 full scholarships now. So more of those athletes will be on scholarship, but there will be less athletes overall. When college sports are on fire, are you grabbing the tradition? Are you grabbing walk-ons are awesome? Are you grabbing I only want players that come here because they love the university? If that's what you think is the secret sauce of your program and that's what you're wrapping your arms up around as you run out of the burning building, you can't have that and success. You can't. College sports could continue to be reasonably priced family outings. They could. Your program could be a reasonably priced way that a family of 6 could spend a Saturday afternoon. But if other teams are turning their games into high-priced entertainment options that have talent fees attached and that money is going straight to the players, that money is going to be the difference. That money is going to be the difference. You want to find winning? Follow the dollars. Maybe not 100% of the time, but a lot of the time. Who was in the World Series this year? Dodgers and Yankees. Are they there every year? No. Are they more likely to be there most years than the Milwaukee Brewers? No disrespect to Milwaukee. I'm just trying to pick a small market team that doesn't have a bunch of money. That is a real deal there. You can't compete with less cash and expect to do that over and over and over and over again. You can get lucky. You can find a way for a time, but to be sustainable, the teams that operate like businesses are going to be better. So you have the option. You can operate as a college athletics program that is all about, the developing young people into adults and only wanting people to play at your university who love your university and wear the colors with pride. Or you can dabble on the other side, which is occasionally we're going to win the best recruit simply by being the highest bidder. They won't even know where our team is. They're just going to the highest bidder, and that guy or that lady's going to help us win. Is it the awesome story you hope for? No. Does it maybe get you a conference championship or a national championship? Yes. Right? So Bubba Cunningham is putting these things out there, I believe, as a, like reading between the lines, an acknowledgement that just so you know, everybody, there's going to be some big changes. There's going to be some things that you don't like. But here's what we are choosing to prioritize. Right? There may be talent fees on your tickets, which may be a bummer. And you may not want to spend more money to see the same game that you've been watching for the last 30 years. But hopefully we'll be able to win because of it. Right? You may love talking trash about the 45 national championships won by women's sports. And we wish we could keep it. But we had to choose. This revenue share money can't be split 100 different ways and expect 100 different people to compete with other sports who aren't splitting it. You could almost think of it like this. You could think of it like to mix the two segments we've had. We talked about the Carolina Hurricanes at the top of the show. Now we're talking college sports. You could almost look at it as the decisions the Canes had to make from last season to this season in the offseason. Right? They had a salary cap. They had a certain amount of money that they could spend, and they had to decide which players they were going to bring to the next season and which players they weren't going to be able to afford. They gave the extension to Seth Jarvis. They gave $3 million a year to Jordan Martinook. They watched a few other guys leave, the Pesci's, the Sheas, the Gensels, and they didn't make those deals. I think college sports programs are going to have to start making similar decisions. Are we going to spend enough to be a great football team? If we do, what sport are we going to have to let walk? They'll still compete. They'll still be like play games. Won't have as many resources as the teams they're competing against. That's the thesis statement here on The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. Dennis, what pair of shoes? You said your favorite. We didn't get details on it. I'm guessing it's a Jordan 1.
That's
what
like
color
trying to ask a parent, which is your favorite child?
Well, if we did ask a parent who are you saving in a fire, I doubt they would have said my favorite. So the follow-up wouldn't have been, oh, now I have to choose a favorite. So you did say my favorite pair of shoes.
Yeah.
Which means there is one.
It's down to 2.
Okay.
It's my original 85 cut of high-top Jordan 1s, like my all-white with a gray swoosh. Love those. And my Travis Scott low-top ones.
Sneaker fans, judge him appropriately at the Fan Rookie on Twitter. I like pretty much all Jordan 1s. Just throw that out there. College football playoff rankings came out last night. Let's dive into that. Similar, right? Ranking your shoes, how difficult it is. I do not envy the college football playoff ranking committee. It's not easy. But I do think it's easy to avoid the obvious blunders, and they seem to be walking into the obvious blunders with an enthusiasm unknown to mankind. Here's the number one thing, and yes, this applies to the ACC, and it's why we talk about it. And yes, you hope it applies to some teams we cover at some point in the next 10 years, that they'll be in the mix for a college football playoff. The problem I have with it in this first year of the top 12 is they're openly and almost flaunting it, the subjectivity of it. We just kind of decided of it.
We can pick whomever we want.
And the brashness with which the committee is doing it. I'm going to explain the reason why I believe expanding the playoff was the right move. Right? And I thought they should have went to 8, which kind of, never mind. There's reasons for that, and it would have been better. It would have worked out better. But expanding it from 4 to 12, here's the reason why. There were many teams each year that didn't get a definitive answer to the question of, did they deserve to be national champions? It was not because teams needed a 3rd, 4th, 5th chance, or teams with the eye test needed to get more opportunities. That's not what was there for. I was listening to a podcast recently. It was Alex Smith, Urban Meyer, and there was someone else on the podcast, and I apologize for not remembering who the other one was. But they started talking about Alex Smith's last year at Utah. Urban Meyer was the coach. Guess what happened that year? Utah rolled through everybody. They had the number 1 pick in the NFL draft in Alex Smith. They had a bunch of different NFL guys in the trenches on both sides. They had Urban Meyer, who we didn't know at the time, may have been a sketchy moral character, but was a football genius. And they put together a team that ran through everybody. And guess who made the national championship? USC and 1-loss Oklahoma. And Alex Smith, we're looking at like 20-some-odd years later, was ready to go. He was in this podcast looking for somebody to argue. Like Urban Meyer was just going like, yeah, we were good. And Alex was arguing with the world because he never got the definitive, we shouldn't have been national champions. That's why you expand the playoff. Not because 3-loss Ohio State, we thought they never really put it together. Like, that's not why you get the college football playoff. So now you have 12 teams, and it seems like the only thing there is for the committee to watch these teams and say who would be favored if they played against each other. And I'm going, that's not what we're doing here.
It's like letting Vegas decide.
Why play the games at all? It's because there are teams out there that have maybe bucked the trend, right? They fought back against expectations to win, and that is what has earned them the right to be tested in the college football playoff. Now, if you haven't seen the rankings yet, I'll read them here quickly. Just the top, I'll go top 14 because BYU, I believe, gets in being a conference champion, and they're at 14. So Oregon, Ohio State, Texas, Penn State, and Indiana are the top 5 in that order, followed by Notre Dame, Alabama, the ACC's top-ranked Miami, Ole Miss, Georgia, Tennessee. Boise State is the highest-ranked Group of 5 team at 12. SMU, another ACC team at 13, and then BYU, who is the highest-ranked Big 12 team at 14. That's how it goes at the top. If you need me to say it again, you can Google it. Sorry. Do you know what is really frustrating to me? It's what Ward Manuel, who is the Michigan AD and the mouthpiece for the committee, said about how they ended up on that particular ranking. Here's Ward Manuel.
Well, I think watching the games and watching the teams play carries the day for most of us. We look at the data, we look at the stats, we see how other people compare and strength of schedules and all of those things. But we also have to watch the games and see how teams are performing in all facets of the game. And that really lends itself in the discussion of how people see the teams perform. And it's a lot of debate, a lot of discussion. People see it different ways, but that's the value, as you say, of having 13 members of this committee in the discussion that goes on.
I can't emphasize this enough. I'm going to say this hopefully in a clear and very easy to understand way, so there's no misconstruing it. If you look at all the data and you have maybe a common opponent, or you have you watched a game and said they lost, but the eye test says they're better than that. If you look at the facts that these teams have put on the field and say, I think this team is better than the facts say, you're wrong. You are incorrect. I've watched a ton of teams say, hey, you know what? I think that team is better than their record says. They're not. Our mind plays tricks on us. Should I go with one of the most famous quotes in the history of sports? You are what your record says you are. Now, the hard part is, and this is where the subjectivity does have to come into play, not everybody plays the same schedule. Not everybody plays each other head-to-head. So there has to be a bit of these two are very close. They both have one loss to a top 15 ranked team early in the season. So now we have to go to the eye test. You're never going to be able to get rid of that unless you limit the field of competitors from, 100 plus to 30, like a pro league. So I understand there has to be some of that, but there can't be an entire list based on that. I'm going to let you in on a prediction, and you could take this to the bank if you'll let anybody, if you find anybody to take the bet. Notre Dame beat UVA this past weekend. Notre Dame plays a lot of ACC schools. It's in their broadcast agreement. They beat UVA this past week. They jumped 6 spots in the ranking to number 6 overall for beating UVA. Some teams above them lost, sure, but that's what Notre Dame did for beating Virginia. Am I saying Virginia with the appropriate amount of stank? Virginia isn't very good this year.
No, they're not.
SMU is 13th right now. That's an ACC school. They are 13th right now. They are facing Virginia this weekend. Now, I expect them to go to Charlottesville and win that game. When they do you think there is any chance that they jump as far as Notre Dame did for beating the same team? No. I'd bet you they don't even jump 5 spots, right? If you just say, one team lost ahead of them. It won't happen. And what will the committee lean on? It's the eye test. We watched Notre Dame do it. We thought they were better while beating the same opponent. And I'm going, no, that's not how it works. Same team, 1 week apart, same opponent. If you win, you have to treat them the same because that's how sports works. This isn't a situation where they're not having any common opponents. Like, if you move Notre Dame up that much, you move SMU up the same, or you do everything in your power to move them up the same. I don't like eye test matters more than anything else. Eye test has to be the tiebreaker. Eye test has to be the last resort. Other than that, the play on the field has to be the most important part. Because, it's sports, and that's how it works. They keep score for a reason.
Yeah, exactly. The scoreboard needs to matter.
This isn't, the Little League tryouts, I'm talking about? Where they get all the kids out on the field and they just play, and you're just writing down who you think is good because you're going to have to draft them later on. It's like, it's not a tryout to see who makes the team and who doesn't. It's just a tryout so the whole league can know what you're bringing to the table. This isn't that. You're not out there just running exhibitions so the committee can say you're good or not. You're keeping score so the score can say whether you're good or not. The committee just has to translate. But they always seem to want to stick their hand where it doesn't belong. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We have football at 4 coming up next, talking Panthers coming out of their bye. And also, somewhere in the 4 o'clock hour, we have another pair of tickets to the Canes-Islanders game on December 17th to go away. That and more coming up right after this.
Tonight's forecast calls for Hurricanes hockey.
Nation scores! Everything is going in for Marty Natchez, his 10th of the year.
Storm Watch with Adam Gold at 7. Puck Drop at 7:30.
Natchez, he scores! It's a 4-point night for Marty Natchez, and he is supernova right now.
On your exclusive home for the Carolina Hurricanes, 99.9 The Fan.
It's bow time. It's not just football season. It's tailgate season. And that includes every kind of football, whether it's got goalkeepers or goalposts. The kick is good! Because it doesn't matter where or how you tailgate. When you've got crispy chicken and fluffy buttermilk biscuits from Bojangles, your tailgate is better than great. It's legendary. Head to Bojangles and order your tailgate box with boldly seasoned chicken, fixins, biscuits, and legendary iced tea today. It's bow time.
Planning a tailgate? Then it's bow time. Bojangles has everything you need for the perfect tailgate, no matter how many fans you're trying to feed. There's the original tailgate, the super tailgate, and for a really big crowd, the jumbo tailgate special. And if you like your chicken off the bone, choose the Supreme's tailgate special that includes 12 perfectly seasoned tenderloin fillets. So grab the tickets, get that Bojangles tailgate special, and go. It's bow time.
Breaking news coming in from Bet365, where every nail-biting overtime win, breakaway, pick six, three-point shot, underdog win, buzzer beater, shootout, walk-off, and absolutely every play in between is amazing. From football to basketball and hockey to baseball, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. 21 plus only.
Welcome to Staples.
Help! My family's in for the holidays and I need gift ideas.
That's why we're here. Staples has amazing deals on everything you need. Photo gifts, laptops, and gaming systems. Even custom holiday cards and shipping solutions to send gifts to the family that can't make it.
Perfect! Have anything for Uncle Frank? I love him, but the guy is never quiet.
Noise-canceling headphones. For you.
You get it.
Unwrap your health. Visit GameDayRaleigh.com today. Find the spot nearest you and book your free consultation. That's GameDayRaleigh.com.
The most incredible sale of the year is on right now at Diamonds Direct. Save an extra 20% store-wide. Rings, earrings, bracelets, bands, and designer jewelry. It's our biggest store-wide sale of the year. This weekend only, shop never-before-seen pieces, plus designers' appearances in the store. Save an extra 20% on Diamonds Direct's already unbeatable prices. Plus, the biggest selection of the year starting this Friday through Sunday. For the best selection, quality, and price, shop direct. Diamonds Direct. For details, visit diamondsdirect.com.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, Injury Lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
That's ritchielaw.com.
WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on radio, web, app, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. Isolated showers for the remainder of the day. That rain will be with us on and off, but the amounts will be pretty light. It's warm, a high of 72 degrees, but clearing behind the front tonight down to 43. And tomorrow will be chilly, a high of only 57 degrees, and it will be windy.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 4 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones is up 139 points to 43,408.
Let's move the chains. Time for football at 4.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Football at 4. The Panthers, coming out of this bye week, are going to be as close to what Dan Morgan and Dave Canales envisioned they would be this offseason. When they assembled the names on the roster, right? The team that they had on the magnets on the whiteboard in the team room heading into the season, this is as close as they've been, right? DJ Wanham, who was one of their big free agency signings, didn't play until recently. Jonathan Brooks, who was their second-round pick, is expected to make his debut against the Kansas City Chiefs. Adam Thielen, who was one of the few bright spots in the early gross part of the season, missed a whole bunch of time with a hamstring injury. He's expected back again this week. So all of this, and then, by the way, there's still the Robert Hunts and the Damian Lewis, who missed practice today with an illness, but he's expected to play. They still have many of the acquisitions. Is Derek Brown there? No, he's not coming back. Shaq Thompson, same thing. Deontay Johnson traded away. So it's not exactly what they envisioned, but it's as close as it's been all year. Dave Canales spoke to the media today about seeing players return and what that does for the team.
Seeing some guys out there running around. Jonathan Brooks put together another great day. Really high hopes for him playing this Sunday. Thielen had a nice day coming back in there too. So Barno was another one who hopped out there, took a number of reps today. Everybody was excited to see him back out there and the long journey he's been on to get himself back, to help us out.
There it is. Guys are coming back. Everybody's excited. I will say, at a football practice, especially in the meat of the schedule where you played 10 games, 11 games, you still have a bunch to go. Or in college it would be like you played 6 and you still have 5 or 6 to go. Seeing someone come back from an injury is a jolt. It is like, hey, you're back. Just somebody new, somebody in the huddle that you're not used to. It gives everybody a little bit of a vibe. So Thielen back, Brooks back. They're feeling good. Dave Canales today talked about what he's hoping to see from Jonathan Brooks, that second-round pick running back.
Just hoping to see him play confident, play fast, and to be able to, capture the style of football that he's used to playing, and so I know that that's going to take time. But I believe that he's physically ready to start that, go down that road, and particularly with Miles out, to give us another running back in there with Chuba to be able to carry the load.
All right, now we know who's coming back. Do you know what I'm hoping doesn't happen?
What's that?
I hope they don't forget about the last 2 months. And what I mean by that is this is as close to the team you designed in June, right? Close to the team that you designed in August as possible. But in the time it took for these guys to come out of the woodwork or leave and come back and get healthy and get hurt and get healthy again, as all that was happening, plans change. Plans change. There's going to be a temptation to go let's finally see my masterpiece. Let's finally see what it looks like when more of the pieces that I handpicked are here. Let's run it out as I originally intended. Maybe the plan was for Thielen to dominate targets. Maybe the plan was for Thielen to be the number 1 or the number 2 wide receiver on the team. That ain't the plan anymore. That was before you knew what Jalen Coker was. That was when you thought Xavier Legette was one of the most raw wide receiver prospects we've seen in a while.
Still wet behind the ears.
They've both proven to be more capable of acquiring targets and making catches and scoring touchdowns. So if the original plan was Adam Thielen to play some big role, plans change. On defense, maybe the plan was for Dane Jackson to play a ton of corner or slot corner. Michael Jackson, the corner, is one of the most pleasant surprises of the season for the Panthers. I'm not taking away his role because in June you were like, Dane Jackson's my guy. Shaw Smith-Wade, the fifth-round rookie. If he's been mixing it up as the extra defensive back and making a bunch of tackles, I'm not taking him out because, hey, when we architected this whole deal, we weren't expecting a fifth-round pick to play much, so now we're going to go back to that. The last 2 months, this team has had some young guys really grow. They've also had some situations where young guys did not grow. DJ Wanham, play the snaps, my guy. Right, the edge rushers that had the opportunity to replace you didn't exactly live up to everything that the wildest hopes and dreams of the Panthers front office may have been. So DJ Wanham is somebody who had a spot reserved, had a table reserved at the restaurant, showed up 2 hours late. Nobody was sitting there. No harm, no foul. Let me show you to your table. Adam Thielen is somebody who had a reservation at a restaurant, showed up 2 hours late. By the time he showed up, there were two younger guys sitting at the table spending money. They're not kicking those guys out. They're not saying, sorry, Mr. Thielen had a reservation for 2 hours ago. It's like, no, you showed up late. These guys swooped in. They're having a heck of a time. Buy them a round of drinks. You're now their mentor.
You can sit at their table.
You can, if they let you.
Yeah.
If there's enough to go around. If they're full, you can go ahead and grab some of the poo-poo platter. Some of the jalapeno poppers.
I think it's David Moore. You're sitting at this table. You need to sit. You need to get up now and let Adam Thielen sit here.
Yeah, David Moore. He was more of a floater anyway. He was sitting at another table, but he came over to talk.
Yeah,
he was
going to go back.
Overstaying his welcome a little bit. It's all right. Well, enjoy your meal. Take the hint. All right, we'll talk to you later, man. It's just like there will be, and I don't know if it'll be like super dramatic. There will be a little bit of mourning for the plan they had between Dave Canales and Dan Morgan. Right? They're never going to get to see what their roster looked like as they saw it in their mind's eye. And they'll be like, I'm being dramatic saying there'll be mourning. Like, there will be grieving. There will be a what if. What if our trainers or our medical personnel were a little bit more correct and DJ Wanham was able to play, in the first month of the season, and Jonathan Brooks was able to play after the first 3 games. And what if, but that's all it is right now. Right? A good what if, that's not helping anybody. What you have to deal with is what's actually happening, not what could have happened. Right? So Deontay Johnson, he was in your plans. It didn't work out. You traded him away. Adam Thielen shows up. Supposed to be the leader, supposed to be the guy. He gets hurt. Plans change. Now you have Xavier Legette. You have Jalen Coker out there. If those two guys see their targets eaten into, I'm going to be disappointed. If Jatavian Sanders, the tight end, who's been rising not just in like local circles, but national circles when it comes to young tight ends. When Adam Thielen shows up, if Jatavian Sanders isn't working the middle of the field as much because that's where Adam Thielen was always intended to work, I'm going to be disappointed. And, oh, by the way, it's the Chiefs. So there's a good chance that whatever you do ain't going to work against that defense anyway. So stay the course and trust the people that have gotten you on this 2-game win streak because that defense is pretty darn special. And just hope for some reason that they line up Chris Jones in front of Robert Hunt so it can be a fair fight rather than, what I think they'll do, which is line up Chris Jones everywhere except Robert Hunt because they don't want a fair fight. They want Jones to have the biggest advantage possible. So this will be a tough game. Chiefs are going to be angry. They lost their first game of the year last week. It is going to be a very difficult situation for the Panthers, but I do think the young player takeover that we've been talking about has to continue regardless of who's healthy. And by the way, we didn't even talk much about the Jonathan Brooks element of this. Jonathan Brooks, second-round pick. Chuba Hubbard's probably feeling like, you know what? We don't need you, my guy. Like if Chuba gets going, feel free to feed him with the rock the way you did in Germany, because, quite frankly, he's been worthy of it. If Jonathan Brooks wants to break off like a 40-yarder, we can have a conversation then. But because he's a young person, his role can grow. He's not the same veterans that I'm talking about. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Dennis just whispered in my ear ticket. Should we do that now? All right, let's do it now. In anticipation of this Thursday, which is a Canes ticket stop, when Victoria from the Adam Gold Show will be out at the Cary Carolina Ale House from 7 to 9 p.m., giving away a pair of tickets to the Canes Islanders game on December 17th every 8 minutes, starting at 7 o'clock every 8 minutes. Pair of tickets will be given away. If you're there, if you go up, put your name and information on a piece of paper, drop it into the box, and you are in attendance, one of those pairs of tickets might go to you, right? Every 8 minutes, it's actually really nice because it's like, oh, man, we lost. Then you eat a piece of food, you have a drink, you just start talking, and they're giving away more. It's very quick. So Canes ticket stop this Thursday, meaning tomorrow, Cary Carolina Ale House, Victoria from 7 to 9 p.m., giving away tickets. And as I said earlier, we are whetting your whistle with, I just like saying that, with ticket giveaways once an hour today here on The Drive. We'll go to caller number 9 on the Heister Automotive Group hotline, 919-860-5326. Caller number 9 wins a pair of tickets to that Canes Islanders game on December 17th. And if you don't win, don't worry. We're giving away another pair of tickets in the 5 o'clock hour, and they're giving away tickets every 8 minutes from 7 to 9 tomorrow at the Cary Carolina Ale House. So call in now, 919-860-5326. Caller number 9 gets the tickets. Hopefully, we'll live off that winning energy with our ladder challenge coming up next. That's right here on The Drive in a minute or two.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
The LA Chargers have a great head coach in Jim Harbaugh.
Sure do.
They've got a really good quarterback in Justin Herbert. They've got a good run game. They've got a great pass rush, and they've got a good kicker. Those are the things that you need to win a championship in this league. They got all the elements. There is a level of subjectivity that we have to view it through in order to project what they're going to be.
Mornings from 6 to 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Everyone deserves a fast and reliable connection, one that helps better their everyday through the things they value most: friends and family, education and career. A connection that opens pathways to opportunity and builds roads to a better future. At Spectrum, we're committed to delivering just that every single day. Because with the right connection, anything is possible. That's Life Unlimited. That's Spectrum.
The Black Friday sales event is happening right now at John Heister Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Lillington, and the savings are huge. Get $13,000 off any new 2025 Ram 1500 Bighorn, or take advantage of 0% for 72 months on a 2024 Jeep Grand Cherokee 4XE, Chrysler Pacifica 4XE, Dodge Hornet RT, or a 2024 Jeep Wrangler 4XE. Awesome choices and savings, so get off your keister and get to John Heister Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Lillington.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, board-certified urologist and senior vice president of men's sexual health at HIMSS. I've helped many guys with ED in my 12 years of practice. But now you can get world-class care for ED 100% online by going to hims.com. So what are you waiting for?
To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% off brand name prices, go to hims.com/joy.
Meet Cheryl. Hey. She's on vacation and lost in the moment. Unfortunately, so is her Chase debit card.
It's gotta be somewhere.
Maybe she lost it at salsa night.
These skirts should have pockets.
Or maybe she lost it at Pilates.
3 and 2 and...
But she's not worried. With the Chase mobile app, she can lock her card till it turns up. Tools that help protect. One bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
Martha was ready to switch to a career in IT.
There's always a need for IT specialists, especially with AI coming out and cybersecurity. It's practically recession-proof.
She heard an ad for My Computer Career and jumped in feet first.
Taking exams and getting certified in a matter of just months.
Even better, you can work from anywhere.
Wherever you are. If you're on vacation, you can still clock in. I work out of my house in my pajamas.
My Computer Career even provides job placement help.
The career specialists, they're very helpful. They care about you as a person. You're not just a number to them.
Launch a new high-demand career in IT or level up with more certifications. Build a career in record time with less money.
I would recommend My Computer Career wholeheartedly to anyone. Indeed, it was the right move for me.
Take the free career evaluation today. Become an IT pro in just months with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Don't forget, it is a hockey night in Carolina. So the Canes will be right here on 99.9 The Fan tonight, 7:30 in Philly, taking on the Flyers. But also, what's become true of every single weekday Canes game is at 4:33, we'll take first goal scorer predictions. 3 of you will get the opportunity to call into the show, and you'll be the official contestants. If you guess who scores the first goal of the game for the Canes and in what period it will be scored, if you guess both of those things correctly, you will win a sweet gift card to Apex Racing Lab and the glory and bragging rights that come with saying you know hockey. So that's coming up at 4:33. Dennis and I will make our predictions. You can make predictions if you aren't interested in the prize, but you still want the bragging rights. You can make your suggestions and predictions in our YouTube live stream comments. You can get them to us on social media. You can email them, however you need to get them to us. But that's coming up in whatever that is, like 20 minutes-ish, less. 4:33. 4:33. Right now, it's time for the ladder challenge. Let's jump into it. I have to give credit to Dennis on this one. He's smoking me right now in November's ladder challenge.
I'm on a groove right now, man.
He has essentially 4 times his money this month.
Yeah.
Started with $10, bets a likely to win bet every single day, as we're supposed to do. The parameters are they have to be between -500 and -1,000, and you roll over the winnings. Whatever you win, whatever you get paid out, you roll it over to the next likely to win bet the next day. And with the idea being, if you get it going and keep it going for an entire month, you can really multiply your cash, which is basically what he's doing. I lost a couple of days ago, but I am back in the winning saddle last night. How much are you up to, Dennis?
$39.60.
Started with $10. He's up to $39.60.
Yeah, I'm on a heater. I'm not gonna lie.
No, it's when you were out of town, you kept just like texting into Graham, and it felt like, all right, how much does he have now? And rolled. And me and Graham had a really bad beat on Monday night, but that's neither here nor there. What'd you have last night? What happened? Did you win? Obviously you did. And give us your pick for tonight.
So I had Nikita Kucherov yesterday for the Tampa Bay Lightning getting 2+ shots on goal. He had like 5.
Yeah, I love a no sweat win.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty straightforward. I'm also going to go with another one that's relatively straightforward. Shots on goal. William Nylander, Toronto Maple Leafs. In 19 games, he has 67 shots on goal in 19 games this season. I just need him to get 2+ on goal today, -750.
What's that? He averages like 3.5, something like that.
Yeah, it's close to 4.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go with this. It's I found my little bread and butter here, Tim.
Your shots on goal.
Yeah,
we'll see. I mean, if I'm not a superstitious person, but I do know a lot of people, especially sports gamblers, that are. And as soon as they start talking like that, it's when people start getting their antennas up.
It's the 39.60 would win me 44.80.
I now, like, obviously it's a competition between me and you who has the most money at the end of the month. I kind of want to see how far you can ride.
I know. That's the thing. I'm like, how far is this going? I'm actually kind of surprised by this too.
Because the plan is the plan, as it was explained at the beginning of our competition, is you cash out at the end of November. So you could actually make a good amount of money and then start over with $10 in the month of December and roll from there. But the ladder challenge for Dennis has been good. Last night I did win. Jason Tatum to post 35-plus points, rebounds, and assists. I knew against the Cavs, who were 15-0, that Jason Tatum on this little revenge, nobody respects me tour that he's on, would be extremely aggressive. The Celtics beat the Cavs, so they're now 15-1 rather than 15-0. And Jason Tatum had 33 points, 12 rebounds, 7 assists. I needed him to get 33 points, rebounds, assists combined. So that was a smooth win. I'm up to $11.81. I have a minus 600 bet here to win $13.70. I'm keeping it simple. First of all, I need my bets to be close to minus 500 because I'm trying to chase down Dennis, and it's a long way.
You just need me to lose.
In the distance. It's a long way in the distance. Canes plus 1.5 versus Philly.
Oh, really? Okay.
I've teased it. They're favored, and I can get it down to plus 1.5, so they can lose to Philly by as many as 1 goal, and I'd still win. I'm trying not to overcomplicate this. Canes are the better team. They've had a couple of days off. Philly gave them a scare last time, so I don't believe the Canes will not step on their throat if they have the opportunity to, because they know how it broke down last time. It is, I think, a minus 600 bet that I like very much. Go ahead and give me the Canes plus 1.5 against Philly tonight, and just shameless self-promotion. You can hear that game right here on 99.9 The Fan. And we'll be giving away tickets to a Canes game in the 5 o'clock hour.
That we will.
Ladder challenge complete. Let's hit it and quit it. Hit it and quit it, where we line up the biggest stories in sports. We talk about them quickly, and we move the heck on. I'll get us started. The NFL Hall of Fame, or the Pro Football Hall of Fame is probably the better way to say that, put out their 25 finalists for this year's class, and there are a few with some local connections. 2 Panthers made the list. Luke Kuechly in what I believe is his first year of eligibility, and Steve Smith Sr. in what I believe is his 4th time as a finalist.
Don't forget about one-time Panther Jared Allen.
Oh, right.
Played that one season. I think it was 2015, actually.
Yeah,
they went to the Super Bowl that year.
Yeah, but what the Panthers
legend.
Third team that you think of with him? Maybe. Actually, I might put curling ahead of that.
Probably.
You think of the Chiefs, you think of the Vikings. I don't really think of the Panthers much. For him, obviously, I think of the Panthers all the time. And then there's also Torrey Holt, who played his college at NC State. He is one of the finalists as well. And I've had this take a few times, and people get mad at me for it. I don't think Luke Kuechly is a first ballot Hall of Famer. I think he needs to have at least 1 year where he's a semifinalist and doesn't make it, with the sole reason being he left too early. He retired too early, and I know that there's there was medical reasons that may have inspired that decision, but he made the decision that's best for him and sacrificed maybe being one of the greatest linebackers of all time. He had a fiery, hot peak, but he just didn't have the longevity to be a first ballot. To me, Steve Smith Sr., I think he's waited his time. I think he's as good, if not better, than some of the recent inductees at the wide receiver position. The stats are there. I think he should get in. He's waited. He's not a first ballot, but he is a Hall of Famer. I think that's fair. And Torrey Holt should have been in a long time ago. It's crazy. You see like Justin Jefferson breaking, through the first 6 years, most receiving yards. It's not Randy Moss. It's not Jerry Rice. It's Torrey Holt that he's breaking. Those greatest show on turf seasons, he was unbelievable. That's where I'm standing. Other noteworthy names, I think Eli Manning's a first ballot Hall of Famer. It's got 2 Super Bowls, 2 Super Bowl MVPs. Anything I'm missing there, Dennis? Anything you disagree with?
Definitely believe Torrey Holt should already be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I'm there.
I think that should have happened several years ago. Eli will probably get in first ballot. Yeah, Kuechly, I'm with you. Maybe not first ballot because, again, the longevity wasn't there, but he's definitely going to get in for sure.
There it is. We'll wait and see how those semifinalists become finalists. Let's quit that. Let's hit this.
What? Wake Forest basketball. Shout out to the Demon Deacons. Get another win. Beat Western Carolina yesterday. Hunter Salas, 20 points.
Here's the tough part.
That guy's a walking bucket.
Hasn't been shooting the three well, but did last night.
Yeah.
Which plays into what my point is about that team. Wake Forest is just in a tough situation when it comes to like my affection. Because the thing that I hate about the Wake Forest basketball team over the last year and change is that they have very little consistency. They can look great one night and bad the next night. I harp on it probably too much when talking about this team. But because of that, they could play great. And I lean back like, that's not enough. I'm not impressed. Because I've seen you play great a bunch of times, but then the next night you don't. Or 2 weeks later, you're back on your nonsense. So they played really well against Western Carolina. Hunter Salas, as you mentioned, back to scoring the ball like we thought he would when he was a preseason All-ACC pick. The problem is you didn't look great against a few other teams already this year. And because of that, the Michigan win, the looking good against Western Carolina don't carry as much weight because I'm like, yeah. But you're going to stink next year or next game because consistency is your issue. It's not like a team who it's like, oh, they can't score in the post. They can't score in the post is what I was trying to say. And then they have a game where like a new big guy off the bench scores 15 in the post. I'm like, oh, look, they fixed it. Wake Forest, like, you're not consistent. They go out and have a great game. I'm like, well, we don't know yet. So they got to play well in like, I don't know, 7 out of 8 games or something like that in order to earn my affection back, Demon Deacons.
And they also just need to still win away from the triad because the lone loss they have was at Xavier.
Mm-hmm.
But all their wins have come either in Winston-Salem or the time they beat Michigan was in Greensboro, hence why I say outside of the triad.
I see what you're doing there.
But yes, that's the biggest thing about them, coming from last year to this year, you still have to find a way to win outside of your home area. Simple as that. Until you do that, you're still just gonna have red flags and question marks.
Here's what I want Wake Forest to do, what I want Pitt to do, what I want Syracuse to do. Here's what I want all of those notoriously often finding themselves on the bubble of the NCAA tournament teams in the ACC. I want you to make my job easy when I have to argue for you on leading into Selection Sunday. Don't give somebody the obvious, like Wake Forest last year was easy to argue against. They don't win away from home. And then we have to sit there and go like, well, what had happened was we got to come up with some ridiculous explanation because you didn't win away from home. You really didn't. So just don't give the haters an obvious answer. That's what I'm asking for. Let's quit that. Let's hit this.
You like that? You like that?
I'm going to pivot here, Dennis. Just throw a curveball at you.
All right.
Dave Canales, head coach of the Panthers, spoke to the media. He speaks literally right as this show starts.
Yeah.
So we catch like the first 5 minutes and we got to get on air. So we missed some of it. But I can pass this along. Cade Mays will be the Panthers' starting center over Brady Christensen on Sunday.
I did see that.
Which touches back on something we talked about at Football at 4. I think if you would have asked the coaching staff 2, 3, 4 months ago, who's going to be your center, they would have said, hopefully Austin Corbett.
Yeah.
And then once Corbett gets hurt, they'd go Brady Christensen. That's why he's there. I don't think they would have anticipated picking Cade Mays to go over Brady Christensen at center. However, they brought in new information. They learned something about a player, and they changed their way of thinking. What had happened was, Ike Ekwonu got hurt, couldn't play, so Brady Christensen moved out to tackle to fill in for him. Cade Mays got some playing time at center.
Who was on the Giants practice squad, and they had to sign him back because he was with the team during training camp.
Yeah, he is a player with history in past years too. That playing time that he received at center happened to overlap with the Panthers playing against this season the best interior defensive lineman in the league in Dexter Lawrence.
Mm-hmm.
And he did well. And he made it look like a fair fight against Dexter Lawrence. And he did not give up a sack to one of the best sack artists in the game. And the running game got going, and Cade Mays was a big part of that. So they took in that information and said, hey, if he can do that against Dexter Lawrence, maybe we trust him against Chris Jones, right? If they line up Chris Jones and some twists and things, that'll put him on the center. So I give a lot of credit right? I call them out when I don't agree with what they do. I give them a lot of credit when I do agree with what they do. I give Dave Canales and his coaching staff a lot of credit for sticking with Cade Mays.
So Mike Kay of the Charlotte Observer made note of this, is that Austin Corbett, Brady Christensen, and Cade Mays had never taken a snap at center in the NFL in their careers.
Now they're all doing
it. Now, but here's the thing. They've all done it this season, and they've given up a combined 1 sack between those three. That's impressive. That's really impressive amongst those three guys. But I mean,
I also hat tip to because they spent $153 million in contracts on Damian Lewis and Robert Hunt, the two guards on either side. Hat tip to them as well for helping out, because there's a lot of double teams and there's a lot of communication that goes on between guards and centers. And I'm sure Robert Hunt is going, give me the hard job. You take the easy one, because I'm getting $100 million over the next 5 years. So
I'll take that guy.
Yeah,
don't worry.
But it's a team sport.
But this is also like a tough spot for Brady Christensen, because he plays in place of Austin Corbett, plays well.
Yep.
And then like, hey, out of necessity, hey, man, these next 2 games, we need to kick you over to left tackle because Ike Ekwonu's hurt. All right, coach, I got you. And he does pretty well doing it. And then, wait a second, now I'm benched for stepping in and starting and playing well for somebody. Then over on the other side, stepping in and starting and playing well for somebody. Now I'm on the bench. Like, wait a second. Like, that's rough. That's rough. That's a bad beat for Brady Christensen. I will say that.
Yes and no. Yes, being the competitor wants to be out on the field, wants to be playing, and that stinks. The no is his agent is stoked right now because he just played well at tackle, showed versatility to play across the offensive line, and now won't be getting hurt. So the agent is hearing dollar signs. Brady Christensen's probably hearing, the silence of being on the bench when the offense is on the field.
Yeah.
So there, but I'll also throw this out there. I've with all of the empathy and all of the sympathy towards players who want to be on the field, I never got the whole you can't lose your job to being injured thing. Because people use them like the most famous example of that is Wally Pipp and Lou Gehrig. And Wally Pipp lost his job, and it was one of the best decisions the Yankees ever made. So it's like, if somebody is playing and they're playing just barely well enough to hold on to their starting job, and then someone else goes in there and plays well, why in the world would you feel the necessity to go back to the first? If somebody goes in and stonewalls Dexter Lawrence, I want to see if that guy can do it again the next week, because Dexter Lawrence is a monster. I understand it stinks for the player that got hurt, but this is professional sports. Like, this is what it is.
For Christensen, he didn't.
Like, he moved someone else getting hurt.
Yeah,
it's unfortunate. Don't get me wrong. Like, I'm not. I feel sympathy and I feel empathy for the player. But as a coach, I got to put the best team on the field. I got to put the best players out there that I think can win. And if that's Cade Mays, sorry, Brady. I really do feel for you, but it is what it is. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. I mentioned it earlier. We need some Canes first goal scorer predictions. Call in now if you want a chance at the prize. 919-860-5326. It's 919-860-5326. Apex Racing Lab. Rev up your engines. Apex Racing Lab. Dennis, I do not see the read here that I need for the prize. I can give it to you in my own words.
Okay.
Apex Racing Lab is the premier simulator destination in the Triangle. So if you want to rev your engines, test yourself out, drive fast, but there's also the safety element, and you also want to be able to learn without learning the hard way and costing yourself a ton of money, Apex Racing Lab is the place to do it. So what happens here is Heister Automotive Group hotline. We opened it up, 919-860-5326. And we take 3 callers. They each get to make a prediction on who scores the first goal for the Canes and in what period they will score it. And if they get it right, they get the Apex Racing Lab gift certificate. It is a situation where you want to win. The prize is awesome. And we'll give you more details later on. As always, Dennis and I will also give you our predictions. I guarantee you nobody is choosing the player that I've chosen for the first goal scorer. I often try to surprise you. I often try to come kind of off the beaten path with my prediction, and I often end up being disappointed when one of the callers or Dennis picks the same person. I guarantee you that will not happen today, but we'll wait and find out. Harry and Clayton, you are up first. We appreciate you for calling in. Who scores the first goal for the Canes, and in what period do they do it?
I'm going with Jordan Martinook and doing it in the first.
Martinook in the first. Do you have any other specifics, any other details you want to give us just for bragging rights? If you get them wrong, it will not affect your prize.
I just know, he's one of the leading scorers. I don't feel he gets all the love like some of the others, so I just got a gut there.
All right. I appreciate it. Go ahead and stay on the line. Dennis has some info he needs to get from you. I will say this about Martinook. He may not be like a blockbuster, everybody's favorite movie, but he's a cult classic. The ones that love Jordan Martinook absolutely love Jordan Martinook. So he has his hive, if you will. Hamilton and Clayton, you are next up here on our first goal scorer predictions. Who scores the first goal for the Canes and in what period?
Marty Natchez, first 10 minutes of the first period.
Marty Natchez, first period, first 10 minutes as an additional prediction. Yeah, I mean, what are you going to say? Am I going to sit here and say Marty Natchez isn't a good pick when all he's done is score and put up points? It's odds on, probably the favorite if you were looking at the betting line. So good job, Hamilton, on getting one of the best picks. And stay on the line. Dennis has some info he needs to grab from you. And finally, Patrick and Garner. Patrick, who scores the first goal for the Canes and in what period?
I'm going to say the Ghost in the first off a redirect.
Gostisbehere in the first. Love it. And you said on a redirect for a little extra bragging rights.
That's right.
Appreciate you for calling in. Stay on the line. Dennis has some info he needs to grab from you. By the way, the prize, the Ultimate Sim Racing Experience from Apex Racing Lab gift certificate. I have the details I promised you. Rev up your engines at Apex Racing Lab, the Triangle's largest sim racing destination. Experience the ultimate thrill with 20 cutting-edge simulators, expert instructors, and world-class virtual tracks. Located in Carey's McGregor Village in Greater Raleigh, visit Apex Racing Lab today and unleash your racing passion. Unleash your racing passion. Learn more at apexracinglab.com. That's apexracinglab.com. I promised you that I would not have anybody double up on my prediction. I can tell you this, none of the three callers doubled up on my prediction. I will await to give you mine until Dennis has a chance to make his, but I again promise it will not be doubled up. Also, I do this with the numbers game. For those of you that don't listen during the 5 o'clock hour, every day around 5:30, we have the numbers game, and I think it's fascinating. It's a game we play. You just have to tune in to find out all the details. But I love doing like observations and seeing, I don't know what it is. Every time we pick a Falcon, right, we'll say like Matt Ryan, Atlanta Falcons, they're supposed to give us the jersey number, or Roddy White, Atlanta Falcons, or Algie Crumpler, Atlanta Falcons. Everybody always says Julio Jones's number. It's like 80% if we ask for a Falcon, you're getting number 11. I don't know why, but it fascinates me. Something to do with our memory, the jerseys we saw, something like that. But I'm noticing something else with our first goal scorer predictions. Gostisbehere started the season really hot, scoring goals.
Yeah.
He's cooled off a bit. He's probably like the third most popular prediction we get for first goal scorers. It seems like every single weekday game we play, they throw Gostisbehere in the first or second at us. And it's that first impression thing, right? You can't shake a first impression. He's back with the Canes. He scored a bunch of goals early on. Everybody's like, sweet. He's now one of the elite goal scorers on the team, and it's something to observe. Dennis, you've gathered all the information. Now,
yes, I have.
Who's your prediction?
All right, this one's pretty simple for me. It's my guy. It's Jack Drury, baby. Jack Drury, first period, offensive zone face-off win. Point shot from Dmitry Orlov. He's there to collect a rebound. Let's go.
All right.
Let's go.
Let me write all that down.
Jack Drury, baby. Let's go.
All right. Let me write rebound. Not bad. I mean, obviously that's your guy, and you've been off the show now for a week, so you've probably been chomping at the bit just to play the music, to do the whole Jack Drury thing. I don't know if you're aware. Do you know he played at Harvard?
I did.
They mention it occasionally.
Yeah. Classmates with Seth Jarvis.
That's Jarvard.
Yes.
I promised before we got to our predictions that nobody would double up my pick. I can say I was right. I'm going Tyson Jost in the first.
Oh, okay. All right.
Do you know why?
Is it off the back of his
Nope. The one detail I have is he is going to be aware that he scored this goal. It's not going to ricochet off his hindquarters and just find a way into the goal. It's because of this. Seth Jarvis is skating. Yesterday, Seth Jarvis skated off to the side. He was an extra, but he in a yellow non-contact jersey. But Jost was the player brought up to the NHL roster because Seth Jarvis was held out with the injury. That clock is ticking. Jost has 1 goal in 4 games, and it was kind of accidental. So I think he's going to head out into this one looking for something to take home. He wants to grab the puck. So Tyson Jost in the first. And the only detail, I don't know if it's, a rebound. I don't know if it's a slap shot. I just know that he's going to be trying to score this goal, not just in the right place at the right time.
That one right off his backside?
Not one right off the hindquarters. No ricocheting off his skate, none of that. He's going to be intentionally scoring this one the way it is scored.
It all counts the same.
I know, but I'm just saying that's my prediction. If it does ricochet off his skate, I'm taking credit for it still, but that's not how I see it happening. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we take a break and hear from Mike Glennon, here's Dennis Cox.
Hey, Dennis Cox from my friends over at Loan Pronto. Listen, stop letting high interest debt weigh you down. Pay it all off in days thanks to Loan Pronto's new Rapid Equity Loan. Homeowners, listen up. Imagine a completely hassle-free way to cash out your home equity. No appraisals, no paperwork, no waiting. Loan Pronto's all-new Rapid Equity Loan uses AI-driven technology to get you approved for cash out in as little as 1 day. One client got $100,000 approved in under 24 hours, wiped out their debt, launched a home improvement project, and is now saving over $1,000 a month. Instant approvals, low fixed rates, fast transfers. Get cash to consolidate all your debt and get a fresh start for the new year. Call Loan Pronto now and see how much you qualify for. Imagine, just think about this. This time next week, you could be credit card debt-free. Don't wait. Get your cash fast. Call 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, on approved credit, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. When we come back, Mike Glennon, former NC State quarterback, longtime NFL quarterback, stopped by the studio earlier today. That conversation, talking Bryce Young, talking David Tepper, a lot of NFL talk with a former NFL quarterback coming up next.
We're kicking it this fall with college football. Join 99.9 The Fan all season long and catch your favorite teams in action. The ACC, the SEC, and every conference that matters. You'll find the best matchups here.
Jordan Moore delivers, and the Blue Devils have the lead.
College football on 99.9 The Fan is brought to you by Wilkinson Chevrolet Cadillac Buick GMC in Sanford and by Amedios.
'Tis the season for family and friends. 'Tis the season for gifting. And 'tis the season for making holiday dreams come true. 'Tis the season for using the old-timey contraction 'tis. And 'tis the time of year for holiday scratch-offs. With over $85 million in total prizes, 'tis the best gift of all.
'Tis the season to gift endless joy with holiday scratch-offs from the North Carolina Education Lottery. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning range from 1 in 3.06 to 9.95. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
At Uline, they know firsthand the road to success is an uphill climb. Uline started in the family basement, and through hard work is now North America's most trusted shipping and industrial supplier. They get what it means to have the support of reliable, hard-working partners. So they keep 41,000 items ready to ship. Whether your company is still in a basement office or expanding cross-country, Uline will be there on your road to success. Visit uline.com.
The most incredible sale of the year is on right now at Diamonds Direct. Save an extra 20% store-wide. Rings, earrings, bracelets, bands, and designer jewelry. It's our biggest store-wide sale of the year. This weekend only, shop never-before-seen pieces, plus designers' appearances in the store. Save an extra 20% on Diamonds Direct's already unbeatable prices. Plus, book an appointment and get an additional $100 off this Friday through Sunday. For the best selection, quality, and price, shop direct. Diamonds Direct. For details, visit diamondsdirect.com.
Did you know that 1 in 6 African American men will be diagnosed with prostate cancer?
This month, every time you purchase Gillette's family of products, they'll donate to support Movember. Whether you're looking for Gillette's Best Shave, a regimen to help prevent new shave irritation and bumps, or award-winning beard care products, every Gillette purchase can make a difference in the fight against prostate cancer. Visit pggoodeveryday.com/Movember for details. Exclusions apply.
Get an amazing deal on a brand new 2024 GMC Sierra 2500 HD Denali right now at Wilkinson Chevrolet Cadillac Buick GMC in Sanford. Get 5.9% for 84 months with up to $6,000 in savings, including $1,000 bonus cash and $5,000 Wilkinson discount. Not available with leases and some other offers. See dealer for details. GMC, we are professional grade. Hurry to Wilkinson Chevrolet Cadillac Buick GMC in Sanford or online at wilkinsoncars.com.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. It is time for our weekly catch-up with longtime NFL veteran quarterback, former NC State quarterback, Mike Glennon. Mike, there's so much quarterback nerding that is happening on this show recently. And it's one of the things that I love debating the most. It's you and I have been in long debates about this exact thing. It's about developing quarterbacks. It's about handling quarterbacks, how to get the best out of your quarterback. And one that I've found myself on an island on is the way Dave Canales, head coach of the Panthers, is handling Bryce Young week to week. It is wildly frustrating to me, and just about everybody else is telling me that I'm overreacting. So I'll give you the nuts and bolts of it. After games, wins, game-winning drives, turnover-free days, he refuses to say, next week Bryce Young is our quarterback. They had a bye week this past week, waited the entire bye week, made the announcement on Monday of the game week. He's going to be the starter. In weeks past, they've waited till Wednesday. Keep in mind, this is a team that hasn't won back-to-back games in 2 years, essentially. Bryce Young was the quarterback, and they won their last 2 games. Am I overplaying the fact that quarterback is a confidence position and it's an opportunity for Dave Canales and the team to show support for their young guy and make him even more confident by showing that faith and saying, no, this isn't a week-to-week thing. We're not evaluating every week. It's his job.
Who are the other people that are not on the island? Why would you not want to have the head coach backing your former first pick of a year ago?
That's kind of where I am. The arguments being he's playing better each week. He's looking more confident each week, and they haven't named him the starter long term. So almost like an if it ain't broke, don't fix it thing. The other being make him earn it, right? Competition breeds what iron sharpens iron, whatever you want. Like those are kind of being the defenses of the decision.
I guess I could see that logic, but Dave Canales to me seems like the ultimate positive, build you up kind of guy. So I don't understand why you wouldn't want to rally around and be like, unless they know Bryce better than I do and that they think this maybe makes him tick a certain way.
Wouldn't that be awful though? If what are you going to like if he
Right.
ends up being the starter for the next 8 years, you're going to be 7 years into the future going like, I don't know, we brought in 37-year-old Carson Wentz. Maybe he takes the job when you have like a 8-year established starter. Like,
yeah, to me that doesn't make sense. I mean, they're not making the playoffs. Andy Dalton is 36, 37 years old. He's not the future of the program. So why not just get behind Bryce? They're winning games with him.
Ugly games
Rally
against
around
bad
him.
teams, don't get me wrong.
I will
but
say
win's a win.
one personal story is in that maybe Canales really doesn't know if he wants Bryce to be the quarterback the rest of the year is when I played in Tampa my second year, they brought in Josh McCown to be the starter. Josh gets hurt, I start playing, and we go to Pittsburgh, we win. I think we play another game, we might have lost. Lovie Smith, the head coach, calls me in the office and says, Mike, I couldn't be happier with you. Do not be looking over your shoulder. Do not look in the rearview mirror. This is your team. 2 weeks later, 2 losses later, I'm back. I'm benched. And I'm kind of like, that one stung a little. So I go in the office like, you just told me 2 weeks ago not to be worried about this, and here we are. So if that maybe Canales is thinking like he actually may pull him, and which wouldn't make sense to me, but there could be some of that where it's like, I don't know if I want him to be the quarterback, and I don't want to tell him he's a starter, and then 2 weeks later tell him he's not.
Well, that's Mike Glennon, the voice you heard, 10-year NFL vet, telling some NFL stories. You brought up again one of the harder parts, I think, of being a coach is I want my quarterback to think he has long leash, even if he absolutely does not. Right? It's part of the reason why I don't think I could ever be a coach, because I do think the best for the team thing is sometimes to look them dead in the eye, call them into the office, and lie through your teeth.
Right.
Because I think the games between him telling you you're the starter and the game where he benched you, the thing that would have made you have the best possibility of playing well would have been to not think, oh, if I throw an interception, they're going to Josh.
I agree. No, I agree 100% that I think sometimes coaches do need a lie.
So the flip side of what we're saying with Bryce is what happened with Indianapolis, right? They benched Anthony Richardson, and the coach almost went out of his way, Steichen, to say, Joe Flacco is our quarterback for the rest of the year. This is not a one-week decision. This is a season-long decision. 2 weeks later, they went back to Anthony Richardson, and he's going, Anthony Richardson is the quarterback for the rest of the year. This is not a one-week decision.
But I think as much as sometimes you have to lie, I think that relationship is now damaged, and it's tough to come back from. It's like now Anthony Richardson's probably going to have a hard time trusting him. It's like, how do I know what you're telling is true? Where that's why I think with Bryce, his situation is different than mine, what I was in.
Yeah.
They brought him to be the first pick of the draft, where I was a third-round draft pick. It was a new coaching staff. Lovey had no ties to me. So maybe he did.
Be careful saying they drafted, though, because this cast
they didn't draft
has
him.
no
the organization did, though.
Yep.
And being the first pick of the draft for an organization is way different than being a third-round pick. But I would say from that point forward, I had a harder time trusting Lovey. And Lovey's a good guy, but it was like that stuck with me. And I think if they were to kind of go out there and lie to Bryce, it would be tough to come back from.
I want to get a switching of gears here, but sticking with the Panthers. I don't know if you read it. Did you read the article? I think it was an Athletic article on what's going on with the Jets. Basically, Woody Johnson, the owner, the most meddling owner in the history of the world, calling meetings with assistant coaches and suggesting they bench Aaron Rodgers after 4 games and deciding who they're going to sign or not sign. And Woody Johnson is, he didn't make his money in the football world. So Joe Douglas, they ended up firing him, and that's when all of this comes out. I think that's the number one fear for Panthers fans is that you can change over the GM, you can change over the coaching staff, but David Tepper is going to be Woody Johnson-like in his meddling, and until that changes or he sells, that's never going to change. I don't know off the top of my head. How many teams did you play for?
7.
7 teams. What was the kind of most and what was the average owner interaction that like the team was aware? Because Woody Johnson, I guess, was out. He made them practice on the bye week when the coach was going to let him not, and then was at those practices like literally meddling, if you believe some of these reports. What's kind of the most you've ever had an owner be in your sphere as a player, and what's the average out of the owners?
The most was I would say the Giants, the Bears, and the Cardinals. The Giants and the Bears, they treat it like a 9 to 5. They made their money. Their family made the money through the football. So they come to work every day. They come to practice, but they just kind of observe. Doesn't seem like they talk to the coach all that often, and maybe they do private, but they would just kind of be there watching. The Cardinals, Bidwell, he would kind of talk with the GM and the coach a lot. Like at the end of practice, the GM and coach sometimes get together with like the medical staff to talk about maybe things, and he was always in that circle where others wouldn't. The polar opposite was the Jaguars, and maybe this was because it was COVID 2020. I saw the owner one time.
And that's Shad Khan. He's the big money guy.
Yeah, I saw him one time the whole year. Bucks, the Glazer family, you'd see them every Sunday before and after the game. You see them before the game, they come around and shake your hand. After the game, you'd only see them if we won, which wasn't often. So
you saw them once a week.
So it sounds like Tepper's way more involved.
And we don't know like if it's Woody Johnson levels. I think that's just the biggest fear is he's somebody with a reputation as being very like, I know what I'm doing, let me do it, listen to me.
Yeah.
And usually when somebody isn't a football lifer and they have listened to me as their reputation, fans don't love them.
Right. And I think that's why you hire the head coach and the GM, and it's their job to make that decision. And then also it is the head coach and GM's job to make those type of personnel decisions. You see rumors in Chicago that the coaches are meeting with veteran players if they think that they should, this was last week before he played well, bench Caleb Williams. I'm like, that's your job as a coach. Why are you asking the players? That's not for the coaches or the players to decide if you bench a player or not. That's what they pay you to do. So I think as an owner, your job is to do a great job hiring a good head coach and a good GM that can run the show.
Which I struggle with this, and this will be the last thing we say because we got to get you moving. I struggle with that because I also understand you pay billions of dollars for something like that kind of is it's yours, right? Like if I'm the owner, I don't know if I would be telling my football people. I think it's different for me because I consider myself a football person. But if I bought an NBA team, I don't think I'd be telling the GM and coach like I need you to run these plays. I want this guy to play more. But I darn sure would be in those meetings with the trainers after the game saying how so and so. I would want to know absolutely everything because it's why I bought it. I love it.
There's a difference between wanting to be informed and having an opinion.
Yeah, I'm sitting in the draft room.
Yeah, I would want to do that too.
And I'm bringing a friend probably too.
It's one thing, hey, educate me. I want to learn, but it's another thing to be telling them, decisions to make when you made your money in a completely different business field.
It's the only time I find myself defending Tepper. Is people are giving a hard time. I'm just going like, I don't know. I'd want to be in the draft room too, and I'd want to pretend like I have to sign off on every draft pick. I'm gonna 100% of the time agree with what you're telling me. I just want to be a part of I want to be a part of the process.
I know we're running out of time. Giants owner, you watch the Hard Knocks.
Yep.
And I wouldn't say the Giants recent, past 15 years under the Mayer family hasn't, exactly got the Super Bowl after post Super Bowl era. But I thought he handled the situation well. Like he asked what they were doing with Saquon. You could tell
he made his emotions known.
Yeah, his emotions were known, but it was kind of like, look, I hired you and trust you that you're going to do what's best for this organization. And I think that's the way the owner should be involved in the program.
And then the GM, in the Panthers case, Dan Morgan, has to be willing to make the decision and live with the results, which Joe Shane and the Giants are doing, watching Saquon go nuts every single game for the Eagles. Thanks, Mike, for stopping by. We'll talk to you again next week. Check out Pack Therapy, the podcast, everywhere podcasts can be found, hosted by me and Mike. We'll be back after this with more of The Drive. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, jumping in here to make sure you know that the starting five is coming up next, and we still have a pair of tickets to give away to that Canes-Islanders game December 17th. It'll happen in the next hour. Stick around.
The Adam Gold Show.
Everybody's bent out of shape about Cooper Flagg turning the ball over twice at the end of the game. He had 26 points, 12 rebounds, and was the best player on the court. Yeah, he turned it over. Kentucky played really well at the end of the game and also at the beginning of the second half. That was the difference. Otherwise, if Duke makes 30% of their threes, they win that game by 10 points. I was impressed by the Blue Devils. I think they're going to get better and better all year.
The Adam Gold Show, weekdays starting at noon on 99.9 The Fan.
It's bow time. It's not just football season. It's tailgate season. And that includes every kind of football, whether it's got goalkeepers or goalposts. The kick is good! Because it doesn't matter where or how you tailgate. When you've got crispy chicken and fluffy buttermilk biscuits from Bojangles, your tailgate is better than great. It's legendary. Head to Bojangles and order your tailgate box with boldly seasoned chicken, fixins, biscuits, and legendary iced tea today. It's bow time.
Planning a tailgate? Then it's bow time. Bojangles has everything you need for the perfect tailgate, no matter how many fans you're trying to feed. There's the original tailgate, the super tailgate, and for a really big crowd, the jumbo tailgate special. And if you like your chicken off the bone, choose the Supreme's tailgate special that includes 12 perfectly seasoned tenderloin fillets. So grab the tickets, get that Bojangles tailgate special, and go! It's bow time.
It's time for the Coastal Scholar Athlete of the Month.
Creighton Blackwell here from Coastal Credit Union and 99 The Fan, and it is time for our Scholar Athlete of the Month. Today, we are here at Willow Springs High School, and we're here to celebrate Ansley Ayers.
She's really encouraging and will make sure that you're comfortable with whatever you're doing, and I never have a bad time when I'm around her.
Her energy is always very uplifting at practice and competitions.
Last year we won a state championship. You know, she was there in the corner again, hyping everybody up, just giving them just some words of wisdom before they hit the mat.
Ansley is an amazing athlete. She's a leader on the team and a great student. Love having her in class, and she's really good and represents the school well.
I'm really happy to represent Willow Spring. Both my parents have been there for me since day one, and my sisters too. They've always been supporting me, and I couldn't have done it without them. And my teammates are always just constantly bringing up my attitude and helping me stay positive through everything, no matter how busy or stressful it can get.
Congratulations, Ansley.
For over 20 years, 99.9 The Fan and Coastal Credit Union have been recognizing scholar athletes at Triangle area schools. If you'd like to nominate a high school athlete, text AWARD to 919-860-5326. That's AWARD to 919-860-5326.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
That's ritchielaw.com.
WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on radio, web, app, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm WRAL meteorologist Mike Mays. Our cold front moves on by this evening. Still the chance of rain, 10, 11 o'clock. When the front moves on by, the winds will really kick up. 41 the low. Tomorrow afternoon, partly to mostly cloudy, windy, and cooler, 57.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 5 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones today up 139 points at the closing bell to 43,408.
It's 5 o'clock. Time to serve up the biggest sports stories of the day. Here comes your starting five.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Don't forget, we do have a pair of tickets, Canes Islanders, December 17th, to give away in this hour. So you're in the right place. You just have to wait for the prompting where I'll tell you to call in, and we'll go from there. At the moment, it is time for the starting five, starting with number 5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Tar Heels going to reverse it and now flip it back to Harrell. He's going to try a deep ball. Wide open, waiting for it, and making the catch at the 9 is Hamilton, and he'll ride a Charlotte defender in for the touchdown.
Somehow, I'm not making fun of the call. I don't think there was a way to make that Omarion Hampton touchdown do justice without seeing it. Where?
Oh, that was the flea flicker from back against Charlotte.
I only heard the end of it. Yeah. Well, that's because you couldn't play the Omarion Hampton touchdown because it wouldn't have done it justice, where he was hurdling and running people over at the same time, which physics-wise I don't believe is possible because when you're in the air, I don't know how you push forward because your feet aren't on the ground. Anyway.
I had to pull that one because we had a little switch here on the starting
We
five.
did have a switch because would you call this breaking news?
You know what? Let's go ahead and throw that out there.
247 Sports and CBS Sports are reporting that Mack Brown, head coach of the North Carolina Tar Heels, is telling people at North Carolina, including staff and players, along with recruits, that he plans to remain the Tar Heels head coach beyond this season. According to 247 Sports, the UNC administration has not commented in recent months on Brown's status past the 2024 season. Brown is 73 years old. They had a 4-game losing streak earlier this year. There's been quite a bit of conversation about if it's the right time, is he enjoying it, all of that. Obviously, a 3-game win streak changes a lot of the enjoyment factor. Here's the deal. In modern college sports, and actually, no, I'm going to say like in modern life, if there's something as big a decision as retirement by a legend, or even just retirement by one of us, run-of-the-mill normal people, if you don't want it to get out publicly, don't tell anybody. You may have to lie to some apparently close confidants. Like, I don't think Mack Brown telling people at North Carolina here with games left to play on their schedule, or telling recruits now with games left on the schedule that he plans on staying, I don't think that bars him from switching up on you 3 weeks from now once you hit the offseason, or after the bowl game once you hit the offseason. I respect the Leonardo DiCaprio in The Wolf of Wall Street, I'm not bleeping leaving, of kind of this report. But, I don't think Mack Brown wants to make the last couple of games about him, even if he was retiring. Right? He's classier than that. So, yeah, I'm telling everybody at the office that I'm not retiring. Why? Because I know this is going to get to a reporter. Could easily be the only reason, right? I'll tell you right now, if I were a coach and I was retiring, I'm not telling anybody that I wouldn't trust with everything I own. Right? Loose lips sink ships. It is impossible with the amount of insiders and everything to say something in like a team meeting room, or to say something and then just go, hey, everybody, please keep it between us. That would be an absurd amount of secret keeping. Which actually, I had this conversation with somebody on Twitter the other day, because we just talked about it with Mike Glennon not long ago right here on the show. I'm frustrated by the fact that Dave Canales won't name Bryce Young the starter immediately after a game for the next game when he plays well enough to win. I've beaten that dead horse, broken record, whatever you want to say. But somebody on Twitter said, you know what? I bet you he's just doing that publicly, but he's told everyone in the meeting room that it's Bryce Young. And my first response was, then the Panthers are the best secret keepers in the history of the NFL, because that information, you say it in a team meeting room, it's to Adam Schefter, Ian Rappaport, agents, it's to other teams. 20 seconds after that team meeting room is adjourned. So Mack Brown, he's telling people he's not leaving. Might mean he's not leaving. It also might mean he doesn't trust the people he's talking to keep a secret. There's only two options. If you're retiring, there's two options. You can tell people you're retiring and risk it getting out, or you can tell people you're not retiring and then get to control the message when you do want it to get out to the public. But I'm not, this isn't swaying me one way or the other on the future of Mack Brown. Not saying it's bad reporting. I'm sure they have their sources. I'm sure that's what their sources are telling them. That's number 5. Let's get to number 4.
1, 2, 3, 4. All together.
2nd and 13. Romo, pocket seal, able to throw it, and he's intercepted by Kuechly. Kuechly inside the 20 to the 10 and to the end zone for another Panther defensive touchdown.
That was Thanksgiving 2015 season.
2015. How long ago does that feel for Panther fans? The modern era player semifinalists for the 2025 class of Pro Football Hall of Famers has been revealed. I was corrected earlier. I said 2 Panthers. Dennis pointed out that Jared Allen,
technically a third
defensive end, at one point in time did cash checks from the Panthers. Steve Smith Sr. is in the group. I believe it's his 4th time as a semifinalist, and Luke Kuechly is in the group. I believe it is his 1st time as a semifinalist, 1st time eligible. It's an interesting group of 25. Torrey Holt, also former NC State wide receiver, longtime Ram, and Jaguar at the end, if we want to talk about players looking weird in other jerseys. They're also in the finalists. There are 25 names. I think it's an interesting class. As far as slam dunks, I'm throwing Eli Manning, probably Antonio Gates, but I would have said Antonio Gates last year too. They maybe made him wait a year because he had a PED pop. Adam Vinatieri, I think, gets in.
At some point, yeah.
Other than that, I don't see many better arguments than Torrey Holt or Steve Smith. I think both of them should get in. Do you know what's the dirty little the reason why I don't think it's going to happen?
What's that?
I just think they don't like putting 2 at the same position in the same year. Unless it's like slam dunk, absolute no doubters, inner circle, top guys.
Yeah, generally, yeah.
There is simply a backup at wide receiver. There has been. They've been putting one in a year because for some reason, starting like 10, 15 years ago, The Pro Football Hall of Fame started punishing guys for having big stats, saying it was era-driven rather than talent-driven. So then all of a sudden you look at the finalists a couple years ago, and there were just a billion wide receivers. And they've been putting them in kind of slowly yet steadily. But there's still just a backup. Torrey Holt and Steve Smith, who we mentioned. There's still Reggie Wayne. There's still Hines Ward. Like, these guys are ones that many of them probably should have been in already. Torrey Holt for sure. Steve Smith for sure. Hines Ward probably for sure. But you just can't put in like a class of 5 wide receivers to get caught up. I do think Luke Kuechly's a Hall of Famer. I don't think he's a first ballot, so I think he's probably next year or the year after. Anquan Bolden, by the way, also a semifinalist. Didn't bring him up in the wide receiver group I was just talking about. Jared Allen probably gets in just due to his raw number of sack totals. Other than that, I'd say one wide receiver gets in. Who do you think it is?
If I had to pick only one amongst this group, I probably would go Torrey Holt first, just because he's been waiting the longest.
If I were the selection committee and I was picking who I think should go in, I think it would be Torrey Holt.
Yes.
Trying to predict what the selection committee does, would not be surprised if it's Reggie Wayne.
Yeah.
Not saying I agree with it, but just like prepare yourself for that. I would have Steve Smith Sr. and Torrey Holt over Reggie Wayne, but for some reason, right, neither of them played with Peyton Manning, so what are you going to do? Kurt Warner and Cam Newton, not as exciting, and Joe Flacco. I love a good Hall of Fame debate. If you ever catch me somewhere and you want to just have a good old sports debate, let's talk Hall of Famers. Let's have that debate. I'm always down. That is number 4. Let's jump to number 3.
Officially a 36-yarder for the win in Munich. Jansen snap, Hecker's hold, Pinero's kick. It is up, and Eddy wins it for the Panthers in OT.
Here's a question I did not expect to ask at the start of this season. But, Dennis, there is reason for me to ask it, so I'll send this your way.
Okay.
Is Panthers kicker Eddy Pinero the best kicker in the history of the NFL?
No.
Statistically, he is now the most accurate kicker to ever play the game.
That he is. Most accurate.
He has made 89.38% of his 113 field goal attempts in his career. With Justin Tucker continuing to struggle this year to the point where people are asking, like, hey, did this guy forget how to kick footballs?
Hey, man, you all right?
He has now dropped to 89.15% on his 461 career attempts. So on a pure who is most likely, when they run out onto the field to kick a field goal, who is most likely to make that field goal, Eddy Pinero, Panthers kicker, is now the most accurate kicker in the history of the NFL. How about that? Remember when Eddy Pinero was holding out and everyone went, ha, 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 no, play. And he was like, nah, fine. Kickers don't have leverage. Agent is going, you see what I was talking about? Should we go full, what's his, who's the guy from Rounders, the guy with the crazy accent? I can't think of his name. John Malkovich.
Yeah.
Pay that man his money. Maybe Eddy Pinero's maybe he was on to something.
Maybe.
It is also weird that Justin Tucker has forgotten how to kick.
It's odd.
The yips, man. It's golf.
It's odd.
It's the yips.
Well, he had a season like what he's having right now back, 45 years ago? He just had a rough down year, and then he came back and had one of the best seasons ever.
Do you know what's interesting?
It's a funny thing.
Of the 8 most accurate kickers in the history of the game, 7 of them are active. Eddy Pinero, Justin Tucker, Harrison Butker, Daniel Carlson, Chris Boswell, then Josh Lambo, who retired back in 2022, longtime Jags kicker is how I remember him. Kaimi Fairbairn, who went to the high school that I went to for the first 2 years of high school.
Okay.
And then Young Hui Koo. All right, I'm going to try to very quickly here.
Okay.
Hit this from multiple different perspectives.
Okay.
First is athletes are getting better. Training is getting better. Stretching and weightlifting and everything is getting better.
Look how many 57-yarders are being made.
So that makes sense. But I'm also going to say this. Maybe kickers hang on too long. Maybe kickers, because you think, oh, they can do that into their 40s. They are super accurate until they're 33, and then they just hang on for another decade, and thus their accuracy goes down. So, of course, all of the most accurate field goal kickers are active. They haven't done the thing where they kick for 5 more years than they should and miss a bunch of field goals. Could be either. I don't know. Just trying to bring multiple options to the table here. Either way, Eddy Pinero, most accurate kicker in the history of the game. I mean,
let's go.
It feels like that.
Let's go.
It feels like there should be a punchline coming or something.
Our
but
guy.
Really not.
It's nope.
Of all the current Panthers, he has the best argument to be the best in the history at his position.
I guess, yeah.
No, I mean,
that's true. Sure.
He might in the history of the Panthers have the best argument to be the best in the history at his position. I love Julius Peppers. I don't know if anyone's called him the best defensive end to ever play the game. Eddy Pinero has at least one statistic that says he's the best kicker to ever play.
Sure.
This is one of those things where if you let your logic get too far away from you, it starts to sound like fiction.
It starts to get weird.
Eddy Pinero, congrats. 3 teams in his 5-year NFL career.
There's still time.
Yeah, he's going to miss 4 this weekend, and he's like, never mind. That's number 3. Let's get to number 2.
When you start talking undefeated versus 1 loss versus 2 loss, the committee's goal is to get the 12 best teams in this thing. So yes, when you have 106 strength of schedule, then it comes into question. And when you have to play one tough team in a season, it comes into question because the SEC is a gauntlet.
Yeah, I've got some problems with that, Joey Galloway. I hate how this sounds out loud. Okay, the college football playoff rankings came out yesterday, and as always, they're going to draw up some debate. I hate how this sounds like just verbiage because I think it's true, but it's gonna sound wrong. The 12-team playoff is not about finding the best 12 teams in the country. I know that sounds bad, but it's about finding the teams that have played the best because that's actually what you measure. It's why would we run the 100-meter dash at the Olympics when we could just measure them in training and say this one runs faster on the GPS? Because guess what? Winning a race isn't about just having the ability to go faster than everybody else. It's about doing it when the gun goes off. There's no doubt in my mind if you took a Notre Dame team and had them play against SMU, just to use an independent and an ACC school, that Notre Dame would be favored by Vegas. There's also no doubt in my mind that Notre Dame lined up against Northern Illinois and got beat. And SMU, their only losses come to BYU, who's one of the top 15 teams in the country according to these college football playoff rankings. Their big wins are near the same. Like it's very frustrating to me to see subjectivity and just, well, I think that team's better, have such a dramatic impact on these rankings. Just, I think that team would win. It's like, well, they had the chance to prove that, and they didn't. It's very frustrating. And here's the other thing, and this is what I was talking about yesterday when it comes to the importance of Duke and UNC in men's basketball, driving up all of their rankings and being top 10 teams and being high in the net rankings. It's less for them and more for everybody else. There is this self-fulfilling prophecy happening with the ACC right now, which is the ACC isn't seen as good as some of these other conferences. So the strength of schedule is, and the eye test says that you're not beating anybody when you beat an ACC team. Thus, you don't rise in the rankings for beating an ACC team. So then when you lose in conference play, they don't get the boost of beating a good team because you didn't rise in the rankings, and it just continues that way. Meanwhile, you look at, say, the Big Ten or the SEC, You beat Michigan. They're like, oh, my goodness, you beat a team that won the national championship last year, without acknowledging that they stink this year. So you beat Michigan, you rise in the rankings. Now you're a trophy fish for other Big Ten schools. They beat you. It looks like they just beat this great team, when the only reason you were seen as a great team is because you beat Michigan, who was not a great team. They were just seen as a great team. Right? So now SMU beats an ACC school. They go, oh, that's nothing. So now SMU's 13th rather than 5th. Now someone else in the ACC beats SMU. They don't get the benefit of beating a top five team. They get the benefit of beating a 13th team, which isn't as much. And then it frustrates me because they don't even hide it. Ward Manuel, who is the Michigan, ironically, athletic director, and also the spokesperson for the College Football Playoff Committee, said the eye test was most important. Here's his words.
Well, I think watching the games and watching the teams play carries the day for most of us. We look at the data, we look at the stats, we see how other people compare and strength of schedules and all of those things. But we also have to watch the games and see how teams are performing in all facets of the game. And that really lends itself in the discussion of how people see the teams perform. And it's a lot of debate, a lot of discussion. People see it different ways, but that's the value, as you say, of having 13 members of this committee in the discussion that goes on.
I hate that. If you need a tiebreaker because everybody can't play everybody and two resumes look wildly similar, eye test. Go for it. You have no choice. But if there is some kind of factual, fair, concrete, they put this product on the field reason to put a team over another team, I think you got to use that. If they play head-to-head, I think that's got to be where you start. Now, if it becomes like three teams where Team A beat Team B beat Team C beat Team A, maybe you have to look eye test to solve those kinds of deals. But there's has to be a reason you play the games. That's number 2. Let's get to number 1.
As Robinson, and we'll get this one. Natchez spins and scores! Everything is going in for Marty Natchez, his 10th of the year.
Canes in Philly tonight.
Radio-only broadcast.
Radio-only broadcast. So if you want to hear Mike Maniscalco, Trip Tracy, and the crew, right here on 99.9 The Fan. A little bit of a weird starting time, 7:30, which means Stormwatch with Adam Gold will be right here at 7 as the Canes look to build on their dominant weekend. 4-0,
good one.
4-0 win with their third goalie in net against Ottawa, followed up by a 4-1 win, which I'm calling it like a gentleman's sweep, right? Because they gave up the first goal and then scored 4 straight. So it's, that's what in a 7-game series, when you lose the first, then win the next 4, it's a gentleman's sweep. So then they gentlemen swept St. Louis on Sunday, and they've had a couple of days off, which I think they kind of needed. The bumps and bruises and the owies, the scrapes and cuts were starting to add up. Obviously in goal, Kochetkov will be in goal tonight, which is something to note. Seth Jarvis had some time. He was actually on the ice skating in a non-contact jersey yesterday before the travel party left. So they're starting to get a little bit healthier. Every day counts in those respects. The other thing, and Dennis, I'm going to give you the floor for 30 seconds here.
Go on.
I just want to make sure we appreciate greatness. I'm big on that.
Okay.
Martin Natchez is on some kind of a heater.
Yeah, it's insane. Yeah, 4 points on Sunday.
I did all of the math, and you weren't here for it, so I'm going to pretend like this isn't just me wanting to say it again, like I'm filling you in.
Sure.
He's on pace for 144 points.
He has the most points. He's the fastest to 30 points in a season in Canes history. He's ahead of the 2006, 05-06 season of Eric Stahl, where it took him 18 games. It took Natchez 17 to get to 30. And like you said, he's on pace to have the most productive season really for a Cane ever, at least in terms of points.
Now, I'm big on not doing the on pace for statistics before it makes sense. Mm-hmm. I hate when somebody has a hat trick in the first 4 games and then they're like, they're on pace for 190 goals. And I'm like, you're through 4 games and you had a hat trick. Like, what are we doing here? 17 games, is that enough? Does it feel real? Does it feel does it feel sustainable?
If he's still at this pace at 30, I'd be like, okay. I think when we hit 30 games, if he's still kind of on this pace, then you go, okay, it's for real.
All right.
Because you can go a hot 20 games and all of a sudden, wow, the next 20 games you only have 10 points.
Here's the only thing I'll push back on. Not many of his points earned have felt fluky.
No.
It's not like he's getting a bunch of bounces. Like when he sets up a teammate and the teammate finishes and scores the goal, it's like, well, yeah, a pass that good should be a high opportunity, like a high leverage chance, a high percentage goal. And the same is true for the goals he scores. He's not taking bad shots and, just getting the plinko off of whatever and getting goals. It looks intentional, which I think makes it more kind of sustainable than maybe otherwise.
It's all in the flow of the game.
I would say
that's the thing. It's all in the flow of the game.
I'm halfway to thinking this is the new Natchez rather than this is Natchez on a hot streak.
Hey, I'm okay with that. By the way, the last time we mentioned Eric Stahl, he's the last player to have 40 goals and 100 points in a season for the Carolina Hurricanes back in 05-06. Right now, points-wise, Natchez is slightly ahead of that.
I can tell you exactly what let me make sure I find it. I can tell you exactly what he is on pace for because we did all this math the other day. 144 points, 53 goals, and 91 assists is what he's on pace for right now. In case you are wondering, his career high in points is less than half that. He is a 71-point scorer at his high water mark thus far in his season. The on pace for now, which is a small sample size and can't be taken at face value, but he's on pace for 144. That's absurd. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. You know what's also absurd? Paying a ton of costs and fees when you sign up for your mortgage. Tim Donnelly here for Miller Lending, and do away with the costs and fees. No closing cost loans. No third-party fees. None of that, like, all right, we budgeted appropriately. We have the house. We know the mortgage amount. We can afford it. And then the surprise, hey, I need $4,000 in cash at closing. And it's like, what? How? Who? What? When? That doesn't happen with Miller Lending. Zero means zero when it comes to costs and fees, and the fact that you need no cash when you sign up for the mortgage means you need no cash when you sign up for a refi. So if rates drop a week after you get your mortgage, refinance. No costs and fees out of your pocket. If it happens again in a week, keep doing it. If rates keep dropping, you do not want to set yourself up to pay costs and fees 2, 3, or 4 times as those rates drop. If they drop over the next few years, I don't pretend to know how to predict it. I think the market is fairly volatile, as it has been recently, but I do know I can tell you what already happened, right? I can't tell you if it's going to rain tomorrow. I can tell you if it's raining right now. So if rates have already dropped, Miller Lending helps you. That's how it works. No crazy prognostication. The number to call is 919-447-3377 for Miller Lending. That's 919-447-3377. Tell them you heard about it right here on 99.9 The Fan. You can also visit them online to learn more, millerlending.com. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender, and MLS number 250-2146. We do have tickets to give away. We have a pair of Canes tickets against the Islanders on December 17th. That is going to come up after the numbers game, a little bit later on in the hour, sometime after the numbers game. But don't think I forgot about it. Just giving you a little peace of mind. I do know right now we do need some numbers game contestants. This week's prize are tickets to see Experience Hendricks at DPAC on April 6th. If you want to play the numbers game, if you want to win the tickets, you have to call in right now. 919-860-5326. That's 919-860-5326. Numbers game coming up next.
Tonight's forecast calls for Hurricanes hockey.
Natchez scores! Everything is going in for Marty Natchez, his 10th of the year.
Storm Watch with Adam Gold at 7. Puck Drop at 7:30.
Natchez, he scores! It's a 4-point night for Marty Natchez, and he is supernova right now.
On your exclusive home for the Carolina Hurricanes, 99.9 The Fan.
The Black Friday sales event is happening right now at John Heister Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Lillington, and the savings are huge. Get $13,000 off any new 2025 Ram 1500 Bighorn, or take advantage of 0% for 72 months on a 2024 Jeep Grand Cherokee 4XE, Chrysler Pacifica 4XE, Dodge Hornet RT, or a 2024 Jeep Wrangler 4XE. Awesome choices and savings, so get off your keister and get to John Heister Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Lillington.
Shop Dell Technologies Black Friday event for their lowest prices of the year. The future is on sale today with limited time deals on select PCs like the XPS 16 that accelerate AI with Intel Core Ultra processors. Black Friday is their biggest sale of the year and the best time to upgrade, but it's only here for a limited time. Shop now at Dell.com/deals. That's Dell.com/deals.
99.9 The Fan, Carolina Ale House, and me, Victoria Vodnecker, want to get you to a Canes game. Join me Thursday night at the Carolina Ale House in Cary from 7 to 9. Show up and sign up for a shot to grab a pair of tickets to the Canes Islanders game. I will guarantee 15 people will be able to take a friend to the game once the night is done. While you're there, grab a drink. They have specials every day of the week. You only win when you come hang out with me. Set the reminder, Carolina Ale House in Cary, Thursday night with me and 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle's sports leader.
Martha was ready to switch to a career in IT.
There's always a need for IT specialists, especially with AI coming out and cybersecurity. It's practically recession-proof.
She heard an ad for My Computer Career and jumped in feet first.
Taking exams and getting certified in a matter of just months.
Even better, you can work from anywhere.
Wherever you are. If you're on vacation, you can still clock in. I work out of my house in my pajamas.
My Computer Career even provides job placement help.
The career specialists, they're very helpful. They care about you as a person. You're not just a number to them.
Launch a new high-demand career in IT or level up with more certifications. Build a career in record time with less money.
I would recommend My Computer Career wholeheartedly to anyone. Indeed, it was the right move for me.
Take the free career evaluation today. Become an IT pro in just months with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
It's Tim Donnelly for Window Nation. Right now, save 50% off all window styles, plus 0 interest for 5 years. Hurry, sale ends November 30th, so schedule an in-home estimate at 866-90NATION or visit windownation.com. That's windownation.com. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is time to play the numbers game. The prize for today are a pair of tickets to see Experience Hendrix at DPAC on April 6th. The contestants, David in Willow Spring and Cameron in Raleigh. They'll be playing the numbers game. And to find out who goes first, we have to ask a question. We pick our favorite answer, or Dennis does, and we go from there. We'll start with David in Willow Spring. David, are you there?
Yes.
All right, the question is one I asked earlier today. It's part of an analogy. There was a whole reason for it. You don't need the background. But the question is simple. There is a fire. You're in your house, and there's a hypothetical fire. You have 30 seconds to get out. All of your pets, all of your family members are gone and safe. You can only grab one thing. What is the one thing you're going to grab on your way out?
Oh, my gosh. Clothes.
Clothes. All right, clothes. Dennis, any follow-up information needed?
No.
All right.
Pretty straightforward.
David and Willow Spring are going with clothes. We'll go to Cameron and Raleigh for the next answer. Cameron, are you there?
I am here.
All right. The question is, there's a hypothetical fire in your house. All of your pets, all of your family members, all your friends, everybody, like life is preserved. Everybody is safe. You have time to grab one thing and run out of the house. What is the one thing you're grabbing?
There's quite a backstory to this. But I would grab my autographed photograph of Jesse Jackson.
You can't, I mean, first of all, there's an answer, but you can't start with there's quite a backstory and not give us the backstory. So what's the backstory behind your autographed Jesse Jackson photo?
I ran into Jesse Jackson at an airport, and he just wanted to talk to me for like an hour and a half and gave me an autographed picture of himself. And it was really cool, like less moment with the figure in history, but it was not on my checklist of what was going to happen that day. So it's just a funny story, and I just always keep it around.
All right. Dennis, I don't know how you judge between the autographed picture from a random Jesse Jackson autographed chat sesh or clothes, but those are your options.
Clothes can be replaced easily, and a signed picture or whatever from Jesse Jackson after you had an hour plus chat with him. I got to go Jesse Jackson.
All right. I did not expect I got to go with Jesse Jackson to be where we ended up here.
Hey, neither did I.
Cameron and Raleigh, you get to go first. Don't worry, David. You'll have your chance. Just got to wait and go second. Cameron, are you there?
I am here.
All right. The categories for you are NFL players that made the 2025 Hall of Fame semifinalist lists, NFL, not a quarterback, but threw a pass during their career, NBA players who are New York Knicks of the last 20 years, or NHL Hurricanes only.
NHL Hurricanes only.
All right. NHL Hurricanes only. I will give you the player and the team. Give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. There will be 30 seconds on the clock. I will say the team name in this one, even though in this category we do know the team name already, just to keep it fair with other categories. You have one pass if you need it. Do you have any questions before we get started?
No questions.
All right. Give me 1 second here to consult. All right. And all right. We are now ready to go if you are, so your time will start when you hear the horn. Seth Jarvis, Carolina Hurricanes.
24.
Correct. Sean Walker, Carolina Hurricanes.
28.
Incorrect. Paul Ranheim, Carolina Hurricanes.
28.
Correct. Sean Walker, Carolina Hurricanes.
26.
Correct. Jesse Boulder-Rice, Carolina Hurricanes.
36.
Correct. Mike Komisarek, Carolina Hurricanes.
36.
Incorrect. Mike Komisarek, Carolina Hurricanes.
35.
Incorrect. Mike Komisarek, Carolina Hurricanes.
38.
Incorrect. Mike Komisarek, Carolina Hurricanes.
31.
I would have had to say his name a whole bunch of times for you to get to the eventual answer. Not in the right neighborhood. It was number 5. So you were very close. 4 is a very, very good score. But you just weren't particularly close on Komisarek. So that'll be hard to beat. We go ahead and stay on the line. We'll see if it holds up. And that brings us to David in Willow Spring. David, are you there?
I'm here.
All right. The categories remaining for you to choose from are NFL 2025 Hall of Fame semifinalists, NFL, not a quarterback, but do have a pass attempt in their career, or NBA players who are Knicks of the last 20 years.
NFL Hall of Fame 2025.
Right. Sounds good. I'll give you the team and the player. Give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. 30 seconds on the clock. One pass if you need it. You need all 5 for the win, but you can do so. You have the full 30 seconds to do it. Any questions before we jump in?
Nope.
All right. Your time will start when you hear the horn. Eli Manning, New York Giants.
10.
Correct. Antonio Gates, San Diego Chargers.
28.
Incorrect. Luke Kuechly, Carolina Panthers.
59.
Correct. Ricky Waters, Philadelphia Eagles.
32.
Correct. Adam Vinatieri, Indianapolis Colts.
11.
Incorrect. Antonio Gates, San Diego Chargers.
32.
Incorrect. Adam Vinatieri, Indianapolis Colts.
41.
Incorrect. Antonio Gates, San Diego Chargers.
21.
I thought you had a chance there. You were moving pretty quick. Antonio Gates with the Chargers wore number 85. And Adam Vinatieri with the Colts was number 4. I believe he was 4 with the Patriots as well, but definitely with the Colts. So you got 3. That's a very respectable showing. Unfortunately, your competitor had 4. So
okay.
You didn't win, but thanks for playing. Hopefully you had some fun.
I did. Thank you.
You're very welcome. That means Cameron and Raleigh, you are the winner. Congratulations.
Awesome. Thank you.
You get the tickets to see Experience Hendrix at DPAC on April 6th. Stay on the line. Dennis has some info to make sure you get your tickets.
Cool.
There you go. Dennis, you missed a doozy yesterday.
Oh, yeah?
I think it was yesterday. May have been 2 days ago. And I got a decent amount of response on Twitter from people that could not believe it. Somebody chose NHL Hurricanes only. First name, Rod Brindamore. Didn't get it. Actually, I lied. They didn't get 17. Apparently, Brindamore at some point in the time wore number 27, and somehow they got that one. And there were some Canes fans out there that were not too nice to that person for choosing NHL Hurricanes only and not getting Brind'Amour.
I mean, that's like a given.
But I will say this.
It's like the free bingo square.
It is, 100%. And I said that on air. But I also said this, and I want this to be clear. Unless you've called in and played the game with the live mic, be gentle in your criticisms of others. You can have something that 100% of the time, the live mic turns on, all of a sudden things are moving a little fast. Okay? So just ease up a little bit on the hate, but yeah, I think we all agree that if you pick the Canes, you probably should be able to get Rod Brind'Amour. There's a poster of him right above my desk. I can't not think of his number when his name is said. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We still have a lot of things we have to get to, including Tim Donnelly here for Capital Financial Advisory Group and my guy, Coach Pete. Actually, you know what? That might be an excellent thing to bring up. Sometimes you think you know what you're talking about. You think you know what you want with your retirement. And then you go into a fast-talking retirement planner's office. You sit down. They're asking questions. They're throwing out numbers. They're throwing out percentages, commissions. And suddenly you just don't want to sound like you don't know what you're talking about. So, oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that sounds good. Before you know it, there's a whole bunch of commissions coming out of your account, a whole bunch of fees coming out of your account that you don't really agree to, but you said yes and you signed anyway because things were moving fast. Coach Pete slows it down for you. Big 8-foot whiteboards, color-coded markers, making sure that you are aware and explained everything that goes on in your retirement plan, every which way that Coach Pete and Capital Financial maximize your income, protect your gains. Everything is well understood. And if it's not, they'll keep going, right? I like to say they find you they meet you where you are. And what that means is when Coach Pete talks to me, he's using football analogies. He's talking about, how risky do you want to be? It's second and short. Do you want to throw a deep ball or do you want to run the ball? And I get to explain and I understand it all. If you're really into horse racing, they could talk that way. If you're really into something else, maybe you're into like comic book movies. They find a way to make sure you know what is going on with your retirement account, which is wildly important. If there's anything you're up in the air of that you're not sure about, that you are a little queasy about, call right now. They have a 22-step behind-the-scenes process to make sure all of your setup, your entire setup, is exactly how you want it. The number to call is 800-691-3215. That's 800-691-3215. Let them know I sent you. They'll hook you up with a free copy of one of Coach Pete's best-selling books. He has multiple. Just say, hey, Tim sent me. The number to call, 800-691-3215. Or, as always, you can text my name, Tim, to 600-700. That's TIM to 600-700 if you're texting. We have tickets to give away. Let's go ahead and do that right now. I've been teasing it long enough. Join 99.9 The Fan this Thursday at the Carolina Ale House in Cary. So the Cary Carolina Ale House. Victoria Vodenecker from the Adam Gold Show will be there from 7 to 9 p.m. for a Canes ticket stop. At a ticket stop, they give away a pair of tickets to see the Canes every 8 minutes. The game that the tickets will gain you access to is Canes Islanders on December 17th at the Lenny, the Lenovo Center. So head out to the Cary Carolina Ale House Thursday, that's tomorrow, from 7 to 9. Hang out with Victoria, eat, drink, be merry, and every 8 minutes you'll have a chance to win a pair of tickets to see the Canes Islanders on December 17th. And also, as we've been doing once an hour here on the show today, to whet your whistle when it comes to tickets, call in right now, 919-860-5326. Caller number 9 wins the tickets, 919-860-5326. Bubba Cunningham wrote an article about the future of sport. That's the athletic director at UNC. And the future of sport with the Tar Heels. We react coming up next. Stick around.
Everyone deserves a fast and reliable connection. One that helps better their everyday through the things they value most. Friends and family, education and career. A connection that opens pathways to opportunity and builds roads to a better future. At Spectrum, we're committed to delivering just that every single day. Because with the right connection, anything is possible. That's Life Unlimited. That's Spectrum.
The smarter way to clean your floors. It's time to make the swap. Introducing the new Swiffer Power Mop, the all-in-one tool that gives you a mop and bucket clean in half the time. The solution's built right in, so no heavy bucket, and the pad has hundreds of scrubbing strips to get deep into grout. Don't mop harder, mop smarter.
Swiffer Power Mop! Swiffer Power Mop!
It's bow time. It's not just football season. It's tailgate season, and that includes every kind of football, whether it's got goalkeepers or goalposts. The kick is good! Because it doesn't matter where or how you tailgate. When you've got crispy chicken and fluffy buttermilk biscuits from Bojangles, your tailgate is better than great. It's legendary. Head to Bojangles and order your tailgate box with boldly seasoned chicken, fixins, biscuits, and legendary iced tea today. It's bow time.
Planning a tailgate? Then it's bow time. Bojangles has everything you need for the perfect tailgate, no matter how many fans you're trying to feed. There's the original tailgate, the super tailgate, and for a really big crowd, the jumbo tailgate special. And if you like your chicken off the bone, choose the Supreme's tailgate special that includes 12 perfectly seasoned tenderloin fillets. So grab the tickets, get that Bojangles tailgate special, and go. It's bow time.
Lowe's knows that to win the job, pros need the best prices. That's why only at Lowe's, MVP's Pro Rewards members can get a volume discount on eligible orders as low as $1,500 at the Pro Desk. That means you get the prices you need to start any job, small or large. Because Lowe's knows pros. Valid in-store only. More terms and restrictions apply. Visit Lowe's.com/terms or Pro Desk for details.
This Thanksgiving at Total Wine & More, find Pinot Noirs and Cabernets that you adore. Our helpful guides are so friendly and nice. So many bottles to try at the lowest price. So gather with friends as you sit down to eat. Grateful for all who made Thanksgiving complete.
With the lowest prices for over 30 years, you'll always find what you love and love what you find. Only at Total Wine & More.
Drink responsibly, B21.
Hey, North Carolina, kick off an exciting basketball season with an offer to splash on with BetMGM, an authorized gaming operator of the NBA. Enjoy an NBA Odds Boost token to snag even more winnings on your basketball wagers, and it's oh so simple to use. I'm Victoria Vodenecker here for BetMGM, and you just log into your BetMGM Sportsbook app and add an NBA wager to your bet slip and activate your Odds Boost token. If you win the wager that was made with the Odds Boost token, you will receive extra winnings in unrestricted bonus dollars. See, it's that simple. 3 quick steps and BetMGM's got you Euro stepping your way to even more buckets. Enjoy our Odds Boost token just for you to help you create another perfect season of basketball brilliance. Join the huddle, get off the bench, and head for the net with BetMGM Sportsbook all season long. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only, North Carolina only. Existing customer offer subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards issued as unrestricted funds. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. If you're calling in for the tickets that we were giving away before the break, unfortunately, I believe you may have missed out. I think Dennis is talking to the winner right now, so you can stop calling in, but that just means you have to change your plans for Thursday. If you didn't win, we gave away 3 pair of tickets to see the Canes and Islanders December 17th today on the show. We gave away 2 pair yesterday on the show. If you missed out on all 5 of those opportunities, you have a whole bunch more tomorrow night. Join 99.9 The Fan and Victoria Vodenecker from the Adam Gold Show tomorrow night at the Cary Carolina Ale House from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. for a Canes ticket stop where you can win a pair of tickets every 8 minutes to see the Islanders and Canes. Or I should say someone will win a pair of tickets every 8 minutes. Once you win your pair of tickets, you can't be like, hey, I'm going to win next. I mean, there's no can't walk away with 12 pair of tickets. But you can win a pair of tickets. Every 8 minutes you have another chance. Islanders, Canes, Lenovo Center, December 17th. Head out to the Cary Carolina Ale House tomorrow beginning at 7. Hang out, eat some food, drink some drinks, watch some games, win big. You must be there to claim your prize, by the way.
Which would be kind of cool because Canes will be playing at that time too.
Canes will be playing about that time later on in that window. NC State, Georgia Tech football will be playing. About that time later in that window, there will be NFL Thursday night football. So it is a good time to be at a place like the Cary Carolina Ale House or any of the ale houses because, not many of us have, 3, 4, 5 TVs in our living room, but they do have way more than that at the ale house. So go ahead, check it out, maybe win some tickets. Here's something that I'm going to tie into what we just talked about. NC State, Georgia Tech are playing tomorrow night. There was a point in time, and I long for this time, where the ACC and ACC football owned Thursday nights. Some of the coolest games, some of the best atmospheres, some of the legends of the game, right? The Matt Ryans, the Calvin Johnsons, I just remember those era ACC teams on Thursday night making cool memories. But guess what? College sports change. Guess what? Business impacts the actual product. The NFL decided to start having Thursday night football. Everybody's eyes go there. ACC takes a back seat. Every single year, college sports changes in some way. I don't believe it's always for the worse. I don't believe it's always dramatic change, but they do change. Bubba Cunningham, the athletic director of UNC, wrote an article, GoHeels.com, about the future of college sports and how UNC plans to maneuver within the changes. The first thing I want to point out is there are changes. There's money changes. Players are going to be able to participate in revenue sharing, expected to be approved in April, so that schools can pay players. There's also a settlement that is expected to be agreed upon shortly that will have to pay name, image, and likeness money back to players that have played in the past, and that's going to cost a school like UNC $1 to $2 million a year in withheld payments from the NCAA. There's a ton changing. Among the changes listed by Bubba Cunningham, additional advertising, perhaps on uniforms, potential surcharges, also known as talent fees on tickets, that'll be helping to fund the payments to the players. Total athletes at schools like North Carolina dropping from around 850 down to 735. Scholarships likely going up from the 330 full scholarships UNC pays at the moment. Some of these things are going to scare you. Do you know what actually – there are very, very few uniforms that I would actually be mad if there was an ugly advertising logo put on it. Most of the time, I'm like, yeah, who cares, right? You watch it for 10 minutes, you're going to forget it's there, you're just going to be watching the game. UNC might be one of those uniforms that I'm like, no, I think it might be perfect. The colors, the Argyle, the Jordan logo. Matter of fact, if I were Michael Jordan, and I know I'm not, you don't have to remind me, I might pay whatever it takes to make the Jordan logo the only thing that is seen on a UNC football and basketball uniform. Keep it pristine, keep it clean, keep it fresh. Jordan. Because if it's no disrespect to the business, if I watch a UNC basketball game and there's a little Jordan logo in the corner, and then on the opposite side there's like a I don't know, like a Xerox copy logo, I'm gonna be like, bummer. Same thing in the NBA. Like, I don't really for some reason I've always liked the Celtics. It's just like block Celtics, green, white, nothing else. I don't care if you go ahead and mess up like the Timberwolves logo. Well, you put a McDonald's logo right where the Raptors numbered on the jersey used to be. But for some reason, I don't like them on the Celtics. UNC is one of those ways. And there's a billion other things to argue about when it comes to the changes to college sports. That's just one of them. You can read the article by Bubba Cunningham. I'm sure we'll reference it more later this week. Tim Donnelly here for Window Nation. Window Nation wants to go in and help you. Huh? Should I keep it that simple? They want to help you. And when I say that, they want to help you lower your energy bill. They want to help me lower my energy bill. They want to help all of us lower our energy bills. And they want to do so with a particularly great deal. 50% off all window styles right now, 0 interest for 60 months, and an additional 10% off for a Black Friday special. So, right, they can do the math for you. They can show you, hey, maybe you'll lower your energy bill with better insulation in your windows, better installation in your windows, better materials by 20%. You look at your energy bill, you do the math. This is how long it's going to take me to pay off these windows. This is how long the savings outdoes the expense. Well, it'll take you less time to outdo the expense, if you get them for 50% off with 0 interest down for 60 months and an additional 10% off for Black Friday. So give them a call now. Window Nation. The number is easy to remember. 866-90-NATION. Set up a free in-home, no-obligation consultation. I did it. You learn so much about your windows. You learn so much about the science that goes into it. It's not just glass over a hole. I'll tell you that much. If you want to learn more, you can call, like I said, 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com. That's windownation.com to schedule your free, no-obligation consultation now. Few things I want to remind you of. First of all, we do have Overdrive coming up next. We will start off with a little Canes conversation, looking ahead at their game against Philly tonight. You can hear that game against Philly tonight right here on 99.9 The Fan. If you show up at 6:30 like you normally do, expecting Adam Golden Stormwatch, and you don't hear it, don't worry. It's just a little bit later of a puck drop. So with the game starting at 7:30, Stormwatch at 7. But it'll be right here like it always is on 99.9 The Fan. The show will be back tomorrow at 3. Please, meaning the drive will be back tomorrow at 3. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, 99.9 The Fan. We are constantly working to make that a more entertaining place for you. So join us in the community there, 99.9 The Fan on YouTube. And other than that, I think we've said it all. I think we've given away all the tickets. There's a Canes conversation coming up next to start Overdrive. Until tomorrow, have a wonderful night, everybody.
Move your sports day forward.
Come on, Coach. I know it's tough. Just squeezed out that. Yeah, he's doing it for us. He is the giant, non-disposable straw that is stirring the drink. Because you do not want Marty Necas melting down like a cardboard straw in a milkshake.
Get set up. Join Next Up with Paul Ihander. Mornings at 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
The most incredible sale of the year is on right now at Diamonds Direct. Save an extra 20% store.